Go ahead, take a seat. Join us for Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer, where the conversations are real, the stories run deep, and absolutely nothing is off limits. From small town life and big time headlines to sports, politics, faith, family, and the everyday chaos of modern living, we talk about it all. No polished corporate nonsense, no fake outrage for clicks, just honest conversation served up with a little humor, a little wisdom, and the kind of storytelling that feels like late evenings from the back porch. Sometimes thoughtful, sometimes hilarious, sometimes completely off the rails, but always real. Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer is brought to you in part by Glenn Mechanical, when you want the job done right the very first time. Jason Hardy State Farm. Like a good neighbor, Jason Hardy and State Farm are there. Country Village Sporting Goods. Everything you need to get to the woods, the water, or the camp. Cook's Body Shop. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's. Davis Farms Country Market with true farm-to-table fresh selections. Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. Put a solid future above your head. Harrison's Financial Management. Your future, our commitment. Murphy Arts District. For the latest info, go to eldomad.com. Larry's Pizza. Home of the Double Pizza Parade. The Rushing Law Firm. Get someone in your corner who fights for you. The Michael Fife Campaign for Sheriff of Union County. Mystic Creek Golf Club voted the #1 course in Arkansas. Smackover Motors. 50 years of keys, road trips, and memories at Smackover Motors. Timberlane Meat Market. Eat local, eat often. Southern Sass Image and Design. The official photographers for South Arkansas Now at southarkansasnow.com. And by ProMed Ambulance. World-class care and hometown values. Recorded live at the southarkansasnow.com studios in beautiful, historic downtown El Dorado, Arkansas. Kick your shoes off, grab a seat, and welcome to the Big Couch. Your host, Troy Boomer Barrios and B.A. Sandy Sanford.
Thank you, Johnny Dean, and welcome to another edition of Off the Back Porch. Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer and sometimes Jax. And not only are we off the back porch,
Yes.
but we're on the big couch.
Yeah.
That's right.
I got naming rights on that, Veronica.
I love it.
I said it.
Okay.
But, and Sandy said, well, he said it too. I said, yeah, but I did this. I just did this. Good couch.
That's it.
Yeah,
I love it.
And, of course, welcome to this week's guest who says, listen, my reputation's bad enough. There's nothing y'all can do to hurt it. And that is Veronica Creer. Veronica Smith Creer is here with us. And, Veronica, you're a repeat guest, though. You've been on with us before, but it was when we were over at the other, at our first original place, which was Boomer's
my
office.
Yes.
When you had the insurance agency.
Yeah, that's been a minute.
That was 2020.
Yeah, that's when she ran.
It was right during COVID.
For mayor.
No, she'd been mayor. She got elected in 18, took office in 19.
No, that's right. Because you and I spoke at my office when you were running for mayor. So that's what it was.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we, thank you for coming and joining us. I do appreciate it. And so, Veronica, you probably never experienced this, but there's nothing as uncomfortable as like you go to your friend's house and
Smells like cat.
no,
Okay.
and they're arguing. Them and their spouses arguing.
Oh yeah.
And that's uncomfortable. Wouldn't you agree, Boomer?
Yes.
So I just let people know that's exactly what happened to me last week. I went to Boomer's house, and he and Fru had gotten into it because she'd ordered some stuff online, and the box shows up, and the word "fragile" is on the outside. Well, he's throwing a fit. He's stomping around the yard to say, I don't know what we need with all these lamps. And she kept telling me, Boomer, that's not a lamp. It's an umbrella. It's an umbrella for our patio furniture that you hadn't put together yet. And because, when she's mad at him, she throws that kind of stuff in there. And so he was like, well, right there it says Fragile. Don't you remember from the movie?
Yeah.
Where it said, what do we need with all these lamps?
Yeah.
Everything over here says Fragile.
The little boy broke his glasses with the BB gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Christmas story.
And then beat up the bully.
Anyway, it was a bit uncomfortable.
And the dogs ate the turkey.
Yes.
And then they went to the Chinese place.
That's right.
That was hilarious. It's a long way to get there, but go there.
So, Boomer, I just wish you understood that if I put in $25 and you put in $2,500, we could be on a beach in Mexico right now. But you don't seem to understand our friendship the way I do.
It's not fair.
Obviously not. It's like
It's not fair.
one for me, one for you. 2 for me, 1 for you.
Exactly. My wife the other day, I hesitate to say this on camera, but she made us hang out with some people we don't normally hang out with. And one of the reasons that I don't like hanging out with them is because they're kind of snarky. It's like everything I say is like, you're so outdated with the way you think. And, that's not how the real world works. And I was finally at the end of the night, I was like, Casey, why do we have to hang out with them? And she's like, they're our kids. And I was like, great, throw that in my face too.
They're always here too. They won't go home. So one of my daughters was on, and she says, "Don't get it twisted. I'm a Democrat."
Yeah,
remember that?
I do,
because I threw it down right when we started.
You made some little remark, and she's like, "Whoa!" She's like, "Let's go and get this out here now."
Says, don't get it twisted. Sit me in my place.
Boomer, our Cajun phrase of the week,
okay,
is "fay do do."
Fay do do. Just like a little party, a little dance.
A little dance?
Yeah, a little something.
Now, I had told you earlier, I thought a fay do do meant go to sleep.
Yeah.
Because there's an old Cajun
it may. I may just be wrong.
That it's fay do do.
It may be. I don't know.
But
my grandmother, who didn't speak much English, said dodo.
Dodo.
Dodo shy. She called me shy.
Shy, yeah. To go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Yeah.
And when she was rocking me, I can remember that. Patting my booty and saying "do-do" and squeezing my neck real hard.
Real hard till you finally did go to sleep.
Go to sleep.
Yeah, I always do like my dad did with
gin and juice.
Just a little bit of bourbon. Just
rub it on your gums.
Rub it on the gums. Yeah. Tuwapa.
No idea what that means.
Tuwapa. Don't you see?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know that one.
And then I won't say the other one.
Yeah. Because cussing in French is still cussing.
It's still cussing. That's right. That's
You
right.
can speak French.
So here, I have a question for y'all. What is the greatest sporting event in America that happens?
Super Bowl is most likely the greatest one.
What do you think, Veronica?
I would agree.
I'm going to give y'all we're going to do a bracket, and I'm going to let y'all choose. Okay.
Okay.
All right. The Olympics or the Daytona 500?
The Olympics.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you're from Georgia or Kentucky or Alabama or Florida or Mississippi.
Kentucky Derby or the Tour de France?
In America, the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I think anywhere. Kentucky Derby. The Masters or the Ryder Cup?
Ooh. I mean, the Masters is the first thing of the season.
Man, to me, for golfers,
that's the ultimate.
I know golfers who don't do anything else all year, but they will go to the Masters, and get $1 cheeseburger or them pimento cheese sandwiches for 50 cents or whatever. Yeah. The Masters. Yep. The UEFA, which is the soccer, or Wimbledon.
Here?
I mean, what do you think is more popular here?
Here would be Wimbledon.
I would think so too. That's what I'm going to go with, is Wimbledon. On the other side of the bracket, you have the World Cup versus the Ironman competition.
What is the World Cup?
Well, the World Cup's going on right now. It's the World Soccer Championships among countries.
Yeah, that's
huge.
That's huge all over and here as well.
I'm getting notifications about that now.
About the World Cup, Yep.
On my ways.
Yeah.
On ways.
March Madness or the NBA Finals?
March Madness.
I think so, 100%. Mm-hmm. Man, it's just because the NBA Finals is 2 teams.
Yeah.
We just had San Antonio, New York.
Yeah.
And outside of San Antonio, New York, and maybe some ancillaries, no one cared. But in March Madness, you've got, what is it now, 68 teams start that off?
They start out and then they have some play-ins. And
yeah. So we'll do that. March Madness. All right. Stanley Cup or the World Series?
Ooh. Probably more viewership with the World Series.
For me, it's easy to say World Series because
you're a
I don't know
baseball guy.
two things about hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah. So World Series.
I know they get the big cup.
Yeah.
That Stanley made.
Yeah. Lord Stanley.
Yeah.
Super Bowl versus the Indy 500.
Super Bowl.
Easy. That's
What do you think, Veronica?
I'm gonna say Super Bowl.
Okay.
It's one of the few things I know on the list that he's
Yeah.
talking about.
Yeah.
The Olympics versus the Kentucky Derby.
Oh, so we're bracketing it.
Mm-hmm.
The Olympics going so long, it probably have
More viewers.
more viewers.
I would still think it's more popular.
Yeah.
Because again, it's a
Kentucky-
lot of sports
Yeah, and Kentucky
versus
Derby's just
one.
yeah.
And basically it's one
hats.
race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hats.
Yeah.
And mint juleps. So Olympics.
Yeah, that's why a lot of people go just to wear a hat.
Yeah. The Masters versus Wimbledon.
Masters still.
I agree with that. All right, World Cup versus March Madness.
I would say the World Cup, just because
It's so going on right
it's
now.
the world.
Well, and it's here's the thing about the World Cup. It's not just it doesn't just happen in one or two places. Neither does March Madness, by the way. But man, they've got Houston, Dallas, San Diego. I mean, they've got places all over the US where they're playing. And it's
Yeah,
we'll
it's-
talk about it in a minute, but all the visitors from other countries who've been coming.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about.
But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
I've got that here. So you say World Cup.
Yeah.
I'm going to say March Madness.
Yeah, I would too. Even though it is the World Cup, it's just it's just happening right now.
World Series versus the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Easily. All right.
You know what's happening to baseball? I'm sorry, it's too long. I was watching
Agreed.
College World Series just now with North Carolina and help me.
Is it Troy?
No, West Virginia. They beat
yeah.
Troy 12-0. And it's like I started it and I left and went and come back and it's still in the seventh inning. I'm going, oh, see, I can't even sit down that long.
But here's the thing. It seems like it's too long until your team comes back in the eighth inning.
yeah.
And all of a sudden,
it's fun.
It's
again,
fun. Yeah.
I like banana ball where it's just.
Oh, my gosh.
Have you ever seen the guys with the yellow suits and they play baseball?
The Savannah Bananas.
Yeah.
And
It's fun. They're doing
they're the Harlem
dances.
Globetrotters of
Yeah,
baseball.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
They
it
do
gets-
all these trick things,
And it gets to the last innings, and if you hit a foul ball and someone in the stands catches it, you're out.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Anyway,
There's a guy who comes out on stilts and
Yeah.
will pitch
Yeah.
from stilts. And I don't know how you throw a strike from that high up.
that is way up there.
But-
I've seen that.
But they'll be chasing the ball down the outfield and do a cartwheel and then catch the ball.
Or the shortstop will catch it and do a cartwheel and throw it to first.
Or throw it behind his back.
Yeah. And the first baseman will catch it behind his back.
Yeah, it's just crazy
Anyway.
stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Down to the semis, you got the Olympics versus the Masters.
Whew, that's a tough one.
I have to go with the Olympics.
Yeah.
Just because, again, now we're at the Masters. It's one sport.
One sport. The
And it-
Olympics
you know,
several weeks or days.
And it's people with bad taste in clothes. So Olympics makes the finals. All right, Super Bowl versus either the World Cup or March Madness.
I got to say Super Bowl still.
No one tunes in to the World Cup or March Madness for the commercials,
Yeah.
Well,
but they do for the Super Bowl.
yeah.
All right, Super Bowl versus Olympics.
Still Super Bowl.
I think so.
Yep.
So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We have scientifically proven that the Super Bowl is the most popular sporting event
Yeah.
in America.
Yep.
I mean, it's right there. There's
it's right.
It's right
we
there.
just did it.
Just did
hey,
it.
would they tell us? Would they tell us back during when they were trying to sell us on global warming? Follow the science.
Follow the science.
There it is.
We just did a scientific
We just did it
study.
right there.
Yeah.
There
And
it is.
we had a small little sample, but
Hey,
still a sample.
you're a boomer. I'm Gen X. We have a lady. I mean,
Because you don't want to ask me my age.
oh no, we don't talk about that. No, you're gonna make the rest of us feel bad. She's gonna be over like, I'm 84. You know that. I'm like, what?
Baby.
Oh, you're looking 32 of her entire life. I've known Veronica for 24 years.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
She hadn't
She has
changed.
not changed one bit
She's-
in what she looks like.
Yeah.
Good genes. Good
It
genes.
is good genes. That is good genes.
I was catching some hell online. I know that surprises you. I was catching some hell online recently from someone says, and I heard what you said about Veronica, and then you had her on your election night coverage and just talked like y'all were best friends. I said, first of all, I've never said anything about Veronica. I hadn't said to Veronica.
Okay.
I said, that's first. I said, secondly, Veronica and I can disagree and still love each other.
Yes.
That's
the nature of a democracy.
That's been our agreement since the beginning.
That's the nature of a democracy.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I was about to say, where does that happen?
Yeah. Not here anymore.
No.
Anyway.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
We'll come back and we'll talk to Veronica some. We'll have some letters that are.
Oh my Lord!
That
I don't know if Veronica's ready for this.
She may not be. She may not be.
Let's
One in
see.
particular. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
Experience, courage, common sense. All of these are traits we want in any elected position, but especially in the man we will pick as our next sheriff. Michael Fife hasn't just been in law enforcement for 30 plus years. He's the one who answers the call in the middle of the night, putting himself last and Union County first, looking folks in the eye, doing what's right, standing up for all of us. Vote for Michael Fife for Union County Sheriff.
For longer than most of us can remember, Timber Lane Meat Market has been a staple of our community, where quality meats and friendly faces come standard. From everyday dinners to weekend cookouts, make it fresh, make it local, make it Timber Lane. Be sure to check out the daily lunch specials and like us on Facebook. Timber Lane Meat Market, 1336 West Hillsboro in El Dorado. Proud to be part of South Arkansas and even more proud to be displayed on your table.
When the long weeks, paychecks are cashed, where we gonna spend it, buddy? You ain't gotta ask. When the neon lights are kicking on, all of us are headed to a home away from home. We don't look like much, but we're pretty damn smart. We're some good old boys that can't pass the bar.
Ready?
So, let's do this.
Oh, okay. I got you.
No.
Sorry.
Noodles! Híjole, that was intense.
Agreed.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer and sometimes Jax. And Boomer, we were talking about it a while ago, and that is, have you seen the TikToks and the Reels and the Instagrams and all that people are putting out that are from other countries that are over here for the
There's some of them
for the World Cup?
Went to Bass Pro Shop, says, you can't imagine how many guns they have in there. He says, then they let you shoot them inside.
There was one guy, European of some sort. He had somewhat, it sounded like an English accent, but he's like, look here, they've got freedom machines. That's what he called the guns, freedom machines.
And then there was one that went to Buc-ee's.
Oh, yeah.
And they freaked out at a Buc-ee's.
That's all of them. Any of them that go to the Buc-ee's are freaking out. They're like, one of them says, we're Dutch. We don't eat barbecue during the daytime. It's something we eat at night. And I'm like, what?
What's wrong with you?
Better recognize where you are.
Have you been to a Buc-ee's, Veronica?
I have. I love a Buc-ee's.
Well, the first one I went to was almost to Florida, where you turn south to go to the beach. And oh my gosh, when I saw that, I said, how many people need gas at one time? Because there's and they were full, not full, but there was a lot of cars in there. And so there was a policeman directing traffic.
Yes.
And so I stopped and talked to him. He goes, all the time.
Yes.
It's since it's been open, we've have to direct traffic.
And Buc-ee's is one of those companies, however, that will prove to you that roadside advertising can work.
Yeah.
Because for 80 miles before you get there, you keep seeing beaver nuggets and stuff, at Buc-ee's.
Yeah.
And then when you get to Buc-ee's, and like you said, it's like a Costco plus a Walmart plus a Sam's Club plus a Love's Truck Stop.
And an old Stuckey's.
Yeah, an old Stuckey. Yeah, they got potato logs back there. But
one lady says, she says, I decorated my house at Buc-ee's.
They have everything.
But, the people, there was one guy, he was like, he was German, and he said, I expected. He said, all I've known about America is what I've seen from our media.
Right.
Yeah.
And he said, I fully expected, everyone was going to be mean and racist, and he's in Texas, and especially going to Texas, he expected, this is one of the reddest states there are, and he said, I kept waiting for ICE to come get me and just throw me in prison, but he said he's been going on about just how friendly everyone is, and just the number of people. There were a couple guys from Portugal that are in Houston, and they're staying about Midtown. And in an Airbnb. Well, they were out, Europeans think they can walk places. You can in Europe. You can't do that in Texas.
Houston.
I mean, Houston, listen, you can drive for 3 hours and still not be out of Houston.
Right.
Yeah. But they made it to the Heights, which isn't far, by the way, from Midtown to the Heights. But they made it to the Heights, and they said, and there was a rain warning. We've never heard of a rain warning. That's all bad. Yeah, well, guess what? Welcome to Houston.
Every underpass is flooded as a swimming pool.
And they're like, so we're standing in this bus stop for this public transportation, but we don't know we're not getting on there. We don't know where it goes. And so then they say some stranger pulled up and said, hey, are you guys okay? I passed by here like 3 times. Y'all are still standing. I've seen like 8 buses. And they're like, we don't know where those buses are going. But we're trying to get way back over to Midtown. He said, oh, Midtown? Jump in. And he gave him a ride, and he was like, that's just, he said, and he had a gun in his car. And he said, it was just sitting there between the seats.
Yeah. That's why he could pick up guys from
That's
Portugal.
why he could pick up, exactly. So, when I owned the billboard down here on Northwest Avenue, we were down there one night, like 11:30 at night, working on it. No, it wasn't. It couldn't have been that late. It was almost 10.
Yeah.
And we're working on it. And these guys walk up, and they're all obviously foreign, and they have thick accents. And I think of the 4 of them, only one really knew English. Okay. And he's like, we're staying over here at the Fairfield Inn behind McDonald's. We just want to have a drink. Can you find me a liquor store? I said, man, jump in. My guy was up there on top of the billboard. I said, I'll be right back. And so this guy gets in. Well, he's shifty. I'm not jumpy, but keep your hands where I can see them. How about that? And he's shifty, and he keeps looking over at me. So finally, I pull that pistol out, and I just set it up there on top of my steering wheel. I said, just so you know, there won't be any bullshit. Just so you know. Yeah. And he's like, okay. And he said, I'm nervous. I said, then you're making me nervous.
Settle
Stop
down.
doing it. I said, it's okay, man. I said, look, I know you don't know me, but I'm pretty well known here in town. It's okay. And so I take him to Gene's Liquor. Yeah. And he goes in, does what he's going to do, and he comes out. And I take him. His buddies are all still standing around underneath the billboard.
Were they Hispanic?
No.
Or something else?
No, they were Middle Eastern.
Okay.
And again, I don't care that. Yeah. But don't get in my truck. But listen, if you get in my truck and act shifty, you might get shot too. I pull that pistol, I sit up there for you to see. If my kids get in my truck and act shifty,
start looking through things.
Throw my glove box. Close that. That's a felony.
What'd you tell that guy to come in your office? He said, don't.
Yeah. So we used to have my operations manager, my program director, and I used to meet every day at 3:00. We'd have a meeting every day. And every day we had this part-timer. He came in right at 3. And he was weird anyway. Really weird. Yeah. But he would poke his head. He got to where he would poke his head in my office. Now let's just say y'all are sitting there where I would have been sitting. He would do this right here. He'd poke his head in.
Oh wow. Looking
all around the room like he didn't know anybody was in there. And so after about the 4th or 5th day, I said, hey, Jason. And he walks back in. He says, yeah. I said, we had a dog that acted like that when I was a kid. Daddy shot it. He said, are you calling me a dog? I said, no, I'm telling you, don't get shot.
Don't get shot. I couldn't remember
either one. Yeah.
Just don't get shot.
Just don't get shot.
Because you keep coming here acting crazy. Because you know me, Boomer. I don't play with crazy people. Boomer and I were walking out of a restaurant down here one day, down here, and this guy comes around the corner, and he has a transistor radio, one with the real, those real long antennas, and it's just a little square radio, but he's holding it like a gun, pointing it at me, he's mumbling. And I was like, hey, go play crazy somewhere else. I don't play.
Not what you
and
want.
that's what I was telling Boomer. I said, I don't play with crazy people, because prison is full of people who's like,
I didn't
try to kill him. I was just getting the demons off of him.
Yeah.
He couldn't see. Y'all couldn't
I
see
was
him.
standing at the corner cleaning my fingernails with my knife, and he just ran into it.
Yeah. That happens.
52 times.
Over it.
But I've enjoyed it. And I mean, I've loved that my algorithm has right now on my Facebook, my TikTok is just full of World Cup people who are over here.
I hadn't picked that up. I guess I hadn't looked at
the other thing is England is really complaining about the heat in Houston.
Well, sure.
And they're saying that, it's giving them a distinct disadvantage. But have y'all seen this? There is a high probability, that the U.S. and England could play each other in the World Cup on Saturday, July 4th.
In Houston.
In Houston, Texas. Not just our Independence Day, but our 250th Independence Day.
But England's picked to win.
Yeah. But not if that heat in Houston's getting to them. It's not.
That's why you put them in Houston.
But I'm just like, is that not the most epic America thing ever? America. My 10-year-old, she'll just be like, I'm like, hey, what were you thinking? She says, Dad, America. That's her answer. If she doesn't know, her answer is America. And then her other one is WTF a kilometer.
Oh no.
I'm like, yeah. I don't believe in kilometers either.
So send me some of those World Cup things.
I will.
So I'll pick them up.
Yeah. But yeah, the U.S. could be playing England
on
July 4th of July in Houston for the World Cup. Now, I'm not going to go to a World Cup. I'm not even going to watch any of the World Cup. But that one I might just watch. Because if the U.S. pulled the upset, because I think England is favored to win the whole thing.
Yeah, they are.
And if the U.S. pulled that upset, it wouldn't be the first time we've pulled the upset on England. I'm just saying.
Well, we did it.
America.
We just said we ain't gonna go over there no more. And then in 1812, then we just solidified that.
Yeah, when they came back,
we come back over here.
Yeah,
and we was hiding behind trees, and they was marching with piccolos and drums, and wearing red coats.
Yeah, that. Listen, if you want to know what not to do in war, announcing your presence. Yeah, that would be the first mistake.
Playing drums and whistling on piccolos.
Yeah, and he said, "Don't fire till you see the whites of their eyes." You know how close I can't see the whites of your eyes from here.
Yeah.
All right, but how about some letters?
I don't know if Veronica's ready for this.
I don't know if she is either. I'm not sure I am.
Somebody's blowing up her phone, but she's
I'm done.
You done? Okay.
Yeah. I found my husband.
Okay.
I mean, a new one or just the same one? You found the one you have?
Same one.
Same one.
That's a good deal.
She ain't getting rid of him.
No, that's what we were talking about. He's a good guy.
He's a good one. Yeah, that's right. Dear Sandy and Boomer, y'all talk about church and y'all both know the Bible pretty well. I have two questions. One,
why do you cuss so much?
What is your favorite gospel song? And two, who do you think Melchizedek was? Do you think it was Jesus? Anson and Magnolia.
My favorite is Midnight Cry. That's my favorite gospel song.
Mm-hmm.
And Melchizedek said it was in the order of, they said in the order of Melchizedek, and they gave a tenth to Melchizedek when they come back from war. And it's thinks that he's a Jesus type or may have been the embodiment of Jesus.
Well, I don't agree that he was the embodiment. I think Christ came to earth once.
Yeah.
And when he comes a second time, there's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah.
There's a reckoning. As far as my favorite song goes, you got it. Midnight Cry is number one for me. If not, then it'd be Revelation song. Yeah. Don't get Revelation song playing in my house in the morning. Won't nobody stay asleep because I'll listen.
Well,
I went to one of them churches. I went to one of them churches where I told Boomer last week. I said it'd be Sunday night service. You think we're just about done, and all of a sudden, some old lady with her hair all knotted up on top of her head. Woo, glory! And I was like, well, there's that. We're here till 10 o'clock.
Yep. No bonanza tonight.
Yeah, we're going to have to eat leftovers because they ain't nowhere going to be open.
So Veronica, Sandy says, going back to my home church in Center, Texas, and I want you to come lead the singing with me. And it wasn't a Pentecostal. It was simply God. So they we all set up and I got my music and all that, and then they said, come on in the side room with us. We're gonna have a prayer before we start. And they started praying, and we got through, and I didn't say nothing then, and we had the service and all that. And I said, Sandy, man, I almost lost my religion. Started praying in tongues when you had to.
We're driving over. It's been quiet because it's late. It's late. It's a Sunday night.
Yeah, we're coming back from Center
We're coming back from
Texas.
Center, Texas. We're in the middle of nowhere. Between Carthage and Shreveport, there's nothing. And we're driving along, and Boomer says, mm-hmm. I said, mm-hmm, what? He said, I'm going to tell Martha on you. I said, tell Martha on me about what?
Doubting my faith.
Said, you got me in there in that Simply God church. He said, they pulled me off in that prayer room, get into the spout where the glory comes out, had me there using my prayer language, doubting my salvation.
Yeah.
Bless your
Yeah.
heart.
I said I was singing 3 little Baptist songs, and he gets up there and he preaching for real. He was for real, for real.
For real, for real.
Anyway.
I preached at Mount Zion one time, and there was a lady who come
And
up
I led the singing.
Yeah. There's a lady who come up to me afterwards. She's like, baby, I never knew. I did not know. You hear? You are invited to the cookout.
So
I've been knowing I was invited to the cookout.
so you if you went and heard Sandy for the first time at a black church, you said, well, he's just putting on. He's just trying to sound like a black preacher. But I heard him for the first time at the Simply God church.
Listen,
he's righteously dividing the word.
Anyway, my view as far as Melchizedek goes was the only time we hear about him is very briefly in Genesis, and then again in the book of Hebrews, when it says that Jesus is out of the order of Melchizedek. So here's what, who were the priests? After the children of Israel come out of bondage, Egyptian bondage, who were the priests?
The Levites.
The Levites, right. So that meant they were from the tribe of Levi. Yeah. But the throne shall never leave David's family. And David was of the tribe of Judah. So you never had a king and a high priest who were of the same tribe.
Yeah.
Until Christ.
Until Jesus.
And he was both the King of Kings and Lord of Lords and our high priest making intercession.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe that the writer of Hebrews meant by Melchizedek, in the order of Melchizedek. He's a king and the high priest. That's what I always thought he meant.
And that's what I meant to say. Yeah. But you just did this.
Yeah, I did this, right? Yeah. Dear Sandy and Boomer, come on, Eileen, really? It didn't even make number 1 in the U.S. I figured you would have better taste than that, Randall and El Dorado. And for a minute, I had to think, what is he talking about?
What did we get? Did it top 50 or something?
I had asked about what was a one-hit wonder that you still love to this day. Yeah. And I said, I guess, come on, Eileen, Oh, yeah. But this guy, Randall from El Dorado, says it never made number 1. So, Randall, I just want you to know, absolutely incorrect. Misinformation, sir. April 23rd, 1983, it bumped Michael Jackson's Billie Jean from the number 1 slot in the U.S. So my question is, what does he think I should, if I'm choosing one-hit wonders, 99 Luft Balloons?
I love that song,
Oh, Mickey, You're So Fine.
That one too.
I mean,
Jay
Giles, Centerfold, should have been the one?
Toby Gray.
Yeah, Drift Away. Yeah, Boomer, it's Drift Away. Last week he says, what's that song Dobie Gray did? I said, Drift Away? No. And he's like, give me a beat, boys. I was like, Drift Away. That's the one. Dear Sandy and Boomer, this is a discussion that came up at Sunday school the other day, and I thought I would ask y'all as well. If everybody in the world could write down their worst problem and put it in a hat, would you take your chances of picking one out of the hat or keep the problems you already have? Nina in Ruston. Matter of fact, Nina says First Baptist Church, Ruston.
Okay.
Would you trade all yours in and pick one out of the hat, or
your worst problem, their worst problem? Now, some people, their worst problem is what color should I get my nails done today?
Yeah.
Then there's people who like, what am I going to feed my kids?
I think I'm going to stick with mine.
That's it. And, so I think the thought process is every time we think we've got it bad,
someone has it wrong.
Who do we want to trade with?
Yeah.
Who is it you want to trade with?
Yeah.
I've told Boomer before, I said, whatever you do, never, ever pray this prayer. Lord, let me see the ugly that other people see in me. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. I'm telling you now, it is one of the most humbling experiences you will have in your life. And right at the end of that period where the Lord was letting me see the ugly that other people saw in me, and I felt like I was worthless and I had absolutely no deserving of life on earth, that I was just lower than the lowest low. I can't tell you it was a supernatural experience, but for whatever reason, there was one day I was here in El Dorado and I'm walking around downtown, and it appeared to me that everyone had a sign hanging off the front of their shirt that told you what they were dealing with. And I'm telling you, I walked past a guy, and across his chest, my daughter just told us she's had her 3rd miscarriage. And I thought, wow. It's one thing for you and your wife, but your child. And I run into someone else, and I know these people didn't have this on their shirt, but it looked like they did. And the next person I saw, I wonder why I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
About what, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what was in their mind. And I saw about 9 or 10. I went back to my office and locked myself in and didn't come out the rest of the day. Because there I am feeling bad about the ugly people seeing me.
God showed you.
And God showed me what other people are dealing with.
Supernaturally showed.
And I'm like, you know, it changed me. How could it not?
Right.
You know, it changed me. So no, I would not take anyone else's problems, you know.
Veronica, you going to stay with what you got?
I am. That's right. Most definitely.
Yeah. So, dear Sandy and Boomer, I really feel like I know y'all. That's what I said to my husband when he asked why I watch y'all all the time. I told him that from the radio days to the podcast, I feel like I know y'all. He said, okay, what's their hobbies? Got me to thinking. I feel like I know Sandy's into golfing and cooking. Boomer does dogs and duck hunts. But do y'all have any other hobbies? If so, how did you get into them? Sherry from Junction City. Well, Sherry, I've got 6 kids, so I don't do nearly as much golfing as I do cooking. And listen, there's days where the main ingredient of our house is whatever comes out of that air fryer.
Yeah.
Because there's days I look at them kids, I'm like, I'm not doing it today. I'm just not doing it.
This is a long answer, but, and I'm going to do it short. From the time I was 17, I thought in my mind that I was going to be a church musician the rest of my life, and wound up in Oklahoma and served in churches, you know, here and there. And I said, God, when am I going to get to do this, you know, for my livelihood? And moved here in '89 and served in some churches, you know, part-time served. And then I thought that was my vocation.
Yeah.
But it turned out that's my hobby. Because God has always, you know, had me do something else and do that secondarily. But I mean, I still, you know, at 70, I still get to play the guitar and in the band at church on occasions. And
let me say this, folks, all kidding aside. Boomer and I were hanging out one day, and he gets the call. Gold City, which in Southern Gospel circles is the pinnacle. Yeah. Them and the Kingsmen.
They are again. This was 20-something years ago. Yeah. But they are again now. They're
Gold City was, you know, that's to put it in the other genres, that's the George Strait.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the Rolling Stones.
Of Southern Gospel music.
You know, that's Teddy Pendergrass.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's the upper echelon, right? And they're in town for a concert, and they tell Troy, get on the bus, man. We need you. Come go with us. And he was like, man, I just don't feel like that's where the Lord is leading me. So it's not that he just felt like he didn't have the talent. He obviously has the talent, but that wasn't where the Lord was leading him at the time.
Yeah.
And I know of a church they were so desperate wanting him to come be their full-time music minister. They were talking to me, asking me to talk to him. And he was like, I just don't think that's where the Lord's leading me. It wasn't the right place at the right time.
In fact, that pastor was at a conference in Dallas and saying that they were needing they just got to have somebody. And he said, well, my uncle lives in your hometown. He said, I've been trying to get him. He said, he just doesn't feel led. So
Sherry, that's our answers, as far as hobbies go. I don't play as much golf as I would like to. Now, maybe I was playing a little too much when I had to slow it down, Here
was my problem. When I played golf, I played too much on that round.
Too many strokes.
Too many strokes.
Yeah. That's why I used to tell people like Ely. I'd say, "Man, you guys that hit the ball right down the middle and
what's
put
the
it in the
fun of
hole
that?
in 2 or 3 shots.
You're not getting your money's
You're not
worth.
getting your money. I play the whole course.
Yeah, we figure
This
out
may
new
be the
shots.
4th or 5th time I've seen this fairway.
You don't have to shape shots when you hit it down the middle.
That's right.
Hit it over in the
Let's see what you do when you hit it over there where I was.
Oak trees on top of that roof.
You know, Tom Mangum, he said he's going to write a book, How to Tee Off with a Titleist and Hole Out with a Nike. Get over in the bushes and find the balls.
I found it.
Yeah.
He didn't know I had his ball in my pocket for 10 minutes.
Yeah. Dear Sandy and Boomer, my 20-year-old son says I am too intolerant. He said that the absolutes of my generation, I'm a 43-year-old millennial, are outdated and I should be more understanding of people trying to figure their way out through the world. To be clear, what he's talking about are my pet peeves. He said humans should not have pet peeves. We should realize that other people are trying to survive. Am I wrong here? All of a sudden having pet peeves is bad? Stacy and El Dorado. Well, Stacy, no. We all have pet peeves. And if you don't, I think something's wrong with you, not the rest of us. I mean, people who don't put their shopping carts up. Big one for me. Because I saw a lady that she's parked next to the buggy return.
And put it in front of her car?
And we're at Brookshire's on Northwest Avenue. She puts it between her and the car next to her. She gets in her car. Tell me this isn't karma. That buggy starts rolling. Bam! Hits her taillight and breaks it. Oh. And I couldn't help but laugh.
Oh.
I was like, that's what you get. Now, in her defense, she did have a small child. But listen, I've had small kids and had to carry my groceries out and put my stuff up and put my buggy up. It's not impossible. No. And my favorite is I went to Walmart one time and one of those wheelchair ones was just out in the middle of the parking lot. I'm like, it was a miracle. Somebody got healed right here in the Walmart parking lot. Yeah. They got up and walked away. So, no, Stacy, I don't think having pet peeves is bad. Yeah. I think that's kind of how we separate ourselves.
Yeah, but just, don't get radical about it. This may be what Stacy's saying,
Yeah, now that's the whole thing. I mean, you cannot like that I do this or that my family does that or whatever, but stay in your lane.
Yeah. If I go down Northwest Avenue instead of College or Callion, well then,
that's just
don't be mad at me because we're going down Northwest Avenue.
Dear Sandy and Boomer, I have one question and it's a serious one. This question is for Sandy.
Okay.
Does it hurt living in Boomer's shadow? Don in Parker's Chapel. Well, Don, I'm gonna be real honest with you. Yes, it does. Absolutely, it does.
Don didn't write that.
That's what it says. Don from Parker's Chapel.
Well, you typed in Don in Parker's Chapel.
No, Don, it does. Just to be very honest with you. I mean,
did you ever know that you're my hero?
What have I told y'all?
And everything.
Yeah.
Don did.
I didn't say that, did he?
You don't know who Don is?
You don't either.
I do.
Okay.
Because I see their username.
Okay.
I just don't out people.
Yet.
But some of y'all keep pushing my buttons and see what happens.
One guy, he called, and Sandy read it. I wouldn't have read it.
Yeah.
He called him everything except a child of God.
Wow.
He did.
He was.
Look at him smiling. Say, he did.
But hey, here's my thing.
Yeah. You got your
Say your piece.
Yeah.
Say your piece, baby.
Yeah. All we need is clicks.
I often, I don't fish for clicks, by the way. But here's my thing. And outside of the Bible, the one thing I quote the most is Martha Berrios. And Martha will tell you, make your words sweet, baby.
Yeah.
In case you
get
have
it
to
like
eat
you
them.
like it.
Yeah, and then that's other ones. Get it like you like it.
Get it like you like it.
Because that's how it's going to be. So, this is one of those that comes anonymously, Boomer, that's asking for some advice. Dear Sandy and Boomer, my wife is 5 months pregnant. We have found out we're having a boy. Now comes the name. She wants his name to be special. I did the air quotes because he did quotes. So even if we name him something normal like Mark, she wants it to be M-A-R-C-K. Even better, she keeps coming up with ethnic names like Mateo and Enzo. I'm sorry, but I'm about as white as Wonder Bread. Her parents are both first-generation Americans from Scotland.
And she wants Mateo?
He said, I told her naming him something ethnic is just going to make people assume he's adopted.
Yeah.
Am I overthinking this? Should I just let her have the win on this one? Signed, what's in a name?
No.
No.
Don't let her have the...
First of all, the name does not make the child special.
But...
It can make the child beat up.
Yes.
If you give that child a name that's weird,
Yeah.
like naming your little red-headed, green-eyed, white freckle-faced kid Mateo,
Yeah.
probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, even that guy over in Texas that keeps running for office and they keep beating him every time, Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah.
You know, listen, I grew up with some Betos.
Yeah, he's not a Beto.
He's not a Beto. I promise.
O'Rourke.
O'Rourke, right? Yeah. Yeah, with his Irish ancestry. Yeah, sure. Beto.
Yeah. Oh my.
No, the name is not what makes a child special. Character makes a child special.
Mm-hmm. But if you start naming goofy names to children, it, you know,
some of them will live up to it.
Well, but it you know, if it's in a stack of resumes.
Have you ever known of a kid named Butch who was good? Who didn't misbehave?
He was a little bad.
He was always
guy.
bad. Every
That's how
kid
they
I
got
grew
the
up with
name
named Butch was bad.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Uh-huh.
But yes, and you're right. When it comes to resumes, one of the funniest comedians, and I cannot remember his name, but I saw him one day. He's like, I saw him live, and he was like, man, he said, I was a school teacher. He said, I'm a young, proud black man, went to college, graduated summa cum laude. I came out, got me a teaching certificate, and I was like, put me in the inner city schools. I grew up on I'm from the hood. Put me in the inner city. Mm-hmm. And he said, I wanted to go in. I wanted to give young black men an idea of where they could go with life and show them, you know, I came out of these same streets. He said, I couldn't even call roll. He said, I got in there and was like, Creer, Mulcia, who the hell? Not Quillia. And he's like, I can't. Okay, everybody named after a vehicle, get over here. He said, Lexus. He
Mercedes.
Said, yeah, Mercedes. He said,
y'all gonna be dancers?
Escalade, you belong over here. He said, everybody named after something in the medicine cabinet, come over here. He said, that's you, Creer Mulcia, get over here. And he said, everybody who mama needs ass whooped, you stand right here.
Oh, wow.
And he said, sorry, bastard, that's you. You get right here. But he was talking about names, and he said, you know, I couldn't make it in the inner city school. He said, I did great until about the sixth time in less than 10 minutes, I got cussed out.
Yeah.
He said, because I'm from the streets. He said, see, what you see out here is not who I am in here. And he said,
I've seen those videos.
I'm from the streets. And he said, about the fourth or fifth time, I said, now listen, player, if you don't want to catch these hands. And he said, and it was all, he said, I thought I had my bluff in on them.
Yeah.
He said, and then cuz come up with a 38. Yeah. And he said, I was like, I'm done teaching. Day one. He said, I am done. And so, but he said, now I work in human resources. And he said, parents, I got to tell y'all something. He said, if I get a resume and it says James Marshall, he said, I'm like, okay, I'm going to read this resume. He said, call me wrong, but when I get one that's like King, Prince, Ladarian, Washington, he said, it better be impressive in them first few categories. He said, names matter.
Oh, they do. And
that's the whole thing is names matter. Mm-hmm. So if you want to name your kid Mark, name your kid Mark. Doesn't mean you have to spell it
Marque.
Yeah, or some other special way, you know. It's so funny because I actually, it came up on my Facebook memories not that long ago when we found out the princess was being born. We knew we were going to name her Aubrey Quinn, but Quinn because she's the fifth child, right? And but for whatever reason, I had posted on Facebook, we picked a name, and it's Aubrey, and I spelled it differently than we ended up spelling it on her birth certificate. And we never talked about it. Or
how do you spell it?
Aubrey is how it's spelled now. Yeah. But whatever reason, that day on Facebook, I had it Aubree. Yeah. And I guess she'd have been fine with either one.
So Aubrey was her name.
Yeah. Name-o. There you go. Good job. Let's see. So, Dear Sandy and Boomer, I need some advice. I'm a man who's a little older than one of my best friends. He's in his 50s. We've known each other for years. And while I care about him deeply, I'm beginning to worry about his mental health. First, he has become obsessed with golf. Not because he's good, just golf. Every conversation somehow circles back to golf. I could be talking about world peace, inflation, or a family tragedy, and he'll say, speaking of, almost birdied number 7 the other day. Second, he thinks he runs a media empire. He owns a local news website and now walks around like he's Rupert Murdoch with better cologne. Third, he's reached the age where every conversation starts with a medical update. I ask how he's doing, and I get a detailed report involving blood work, doctor's appointments, and at least one body part that should not be discussed before lunch. Finally, and this is the most concerning part, he's developed a habit of correcting people on things no one cares about. Last week, he interrupted a story to explain the difference between a podcast and a vlog. Nobody asked, nobody benefited. The room just got quiet. My question is this. At what point do you stage an intervention for a friend who spends his life chasing golf balls and the other half refreshing website analytics? Signed, Concerned but Exhausted in South Arkansas. P.S. If my friend happens to hear this letter, I want him to know I say all of this with love, and he still owes me lunch from that time he made fun of me for ordering chicken salad. Boomer, do you want to explain anything?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
So this person just happens to have a friend
Who's
in
you?
their 50s.
Who is you?
I'm gonna say he wrote it, didn't he?
Who is you?
Just happens to have a friend who's in their 50s who
Walks around like he's
in golf, into golf and
I didn't write that. I didn't write that.
And this person's friend made fun of them for getting chicken salad sandwich.
Yeah, you made fun of me for getting chicken.
I did.
But I didn't write that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote. See, I mean, she said
No,
right,
no. Again, I can see who writes these things.
and it was you.
No, it was someone else. They're having a little fun at our expense.
Are they really?
Yeah. You remember we got
one.
one.
Nail it that well.
All you gotta do is watch these. I mean, Boomer, neither you or I have a secret one, right?
No. I do. Yeah,
Yeah, Boomer does have some. It's from the
try my
70s.
best.
It's from the 70s. But that was pre-Jesus. It's okay.
So that was Jesus was taking a break.
Yeah. That's what I tell people. I prayed one time. I said, Lord, I am so thankful there's not one person in El Dorado, Arkansas who knows me prior to me knowing you.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
So when I moved to El Dorado in 89, my dad died in 86, and my children lived here. And I asked my mother, who was already ailing and a little elderly, I said, Mother, I'm going to move to Arkansas. Do you want to go with me? She said, let's go. So we got here and we started going to church. And I said, no, Mama, listen. I said, none of these people know that I went to rehab. I said, we don't need to tell all these people at church how you're so proud of your son for getting his life straight and those years of drug abuse doing all these things. I said, we don't need to share that with them. She goes, yeah, but you just did so good with your life post all that. I said, yeah, so let's just start from right here.
Let's let this be fresh and new.
Yeah, until now. Yeah.
But my favorite thing is stories. Obviously I never met his mother, but he told me, he said, she looked at me one day and said, Troy, when is bad things going to stop happening to you?
She did.
And he told her, he said, Mama, I've sown the seeds. I'm just reaping. I'm just reaping what I have sown.
So, are you through? Can I tell them?
With that letter, yes.
So, Mother started slipping a little bit, and she was 84 when she died, but she started slipping a little bit, but she's still sharp, from time to time. And my sister and I are sitting on her bed here in El Dorado. And, I'm trying to be philosophical. I said, now, Mother, you're entering into the fall of your life, into the winter of your life. And I said, there's going to be some decisions that we going to have to make for you, for Pat and I are going to have to make for you. She said, well, who's going to make those decisions? I said, well, most likely I will, since, I live here and Pat lives in Houston. She said, so how well is making decisions worked for you?
Because I remember some decisions you've made.
I just want to say, ouch.
I said, well, touche, Mama. Touche, but I'm going to do my dead level best to make good decisions for you.
Yeah. I didn't make very many good decisions for me, but I'm going to do my best for you, Mom.
Yeah.
Dear Sandy and Boomer, every year for Mother's Day, the kids and I ask my wife what she wants, and she gets it. Food, gifts, jewelry, whatever it is. It's all there for her. It's magical, and she loves it. For Father's Day, I'm never asked. I get tools. I want to scream. Have y'all not seen my garage? I have enough tools that when I die, none of you will ever have to work another day in your life. I'm the friggin' Scrooge McDuck of tools. I could jump into a pile of my tools and swim around, end quote. I would have thought they got the hint 2 years ago when I had to buy yet another toolbox to put in the garage just to house the tools that I got every freaking year for my birthday, Father's Day, Christmas, and anniversary. Last year, I opened the tools and really tried to make a show of not being grateful. I kind of tossed them down and left them sitting on the countertop for 4 days. This one day, however, I need to make it clear that I'm serious about this. I want some time to myself. I want to go to the golf course. I want to drink way too many beers. I want to sit around the clubhouse afterward and tell lies with my buddies. I want to talk crap about the women we dated and the ones we could have had. I want to be dropped off at the golf course and then picked up with 0 questions asked about what my day was like at 9 o'clock that night. How do I explain to my family that I love them, but for one day a year, I want 0 responsibilities and 0 accountability? Signed, Happy Effing Father's Day.
It was the attitude in which you read it.
He's pretty selfish, I'd say.
You know what? He's not either. I mean, one day a year, This sounds like a guy who's responsible all the rest of the time.
Uh-huh.
And there's this one day.
Just one day.
Yeah.
And like he said, everyone always asks Mom what she wants, but he said, they don't ask me. They just get me more tools.
The restaurants won't be full on Father's Day.
They will not.
No.
Yeah.
They will not.
No. Now, the grills will be going all over South Arkansas.
Daddies will be cooking.
Yeah. Back when this was a thing, I always thought this was the strangest statistic. It used to be, for those of you who are watching, you don't know what a collect call is. It used to be when you would call someone and the charges would be to the person you called as opposed to yourself. Mm-hmm. The greatest single day each year for collect calls was Father's Day.
Was Father's Day.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Because I want to talk to you, but I don't want to pay for it.
But I don't want to pay for it. That's right.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I would give up 3 years of salary to be able to have 10 minutes talking to my dad right now.
Oh, my word, yes.
To just sit down with him and just
I can dream
a few
about
minutes.
him and he still won't talk.
That's what that's weird to me.
I dreamt
about my dad
last night.
I dreamt about my dad last night, and we had a whole conversation.
Oh, see, Daddy didn't talk.
Yeah, that's sad to me.
It is sad. I wish
that you dream about your dad and he doesn't talk.
Yep. Nope.
I'll tell my dad to talk to your dad.
And
say, hey, are you mad at him? Or, what?
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah, there was that time in front of the preacher. He's like,
So tell that stupid woman.
Yeah.
Called my mother.
I had to spank my kid in front of the preacher. My daddy would say, yeah, well, mine said yes or no, sir. Thank you, please. Open up the turkey's butt and pass the peas in front of the preacher.
Yeah. The preacher's talking to my daddy, dark 30, in front of the house, and Mama comes to the door and says, Troy Michael's time to come in. I said, Daddy, tell that stupid woman I ain't coming in. And she heard me from the porch, and so did the preacher. I got lit up. I was like 6. Anyway.
But you felt comfortable telling your dad that?
So,
About your mom?
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
He was there. He was there.
That's what she's saying. But you felt comfortable enough to say that in front of your dad.
I guess. I guess.
Here's the thing.
Daddy might have said it before.
The preacher rightfully assumed he's only regurgitating what he's heard.
Well,
and so when I said that prayer, our pastor, I told you, A.L. Gatlin, and he was old as black pepper when I was a kid, when my daddy was a kid, as a matter of fact. But he came to our house, and I was so excited. The preacher's coming over to eat, and Mama, fabulous cook, by the way. Mama made this great meal, and we're going to sit down, and I'm just begging, can I please say the prayer? Please let me say. And Daddy's like, well, the pastor's here. We should let him. Daddy, please let me say the prayer. So finally, he's like, okay, you can say the prayer. So, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, please. Open the turkey's butt and pass me them peas. Amen.
And you were so proud.
And I was so proud of myself. And my dad is just like...
He's having a myocardial infarction.
He looks over at the pastor, and the pastor just pats him on the shoulder. He says, it's okay, buddy. Buddy, it's okay. Mm-hmm. He said, they only repeat what they hear.
Yeah, yeah.
And evidently,
really embarrassing.
talking to my mom the other day, evidently in that same night while the pastor was there, I dropped something and yelled, "Oh shit."
Oh,
So it got even better.
yeah.
It got even better. You know, and thank you to my sweet, sweet mama for not putting that online. She saw that clip where I talked about that prayer, and she could have put that on the line, and she didn't.
But
she
you did.
She waited. Yeah, I'm doing it now, but that's me. But
She could have.
She could have. She's busted me out several times over the years. And guess what? You know she picks them grandkids over me every freaking time.
Sure.
I'll tell you something.
That's the only reason we have kids is to have grandkids.
Let me just tell you something. If she only knew them grandkids of hers, they ain't so grand sometimes.
They're grand around
To
her.
her.
To her, they are.
Yeah, I'm a Mimi, so I.
See, I don't-
There you go.
Yeah, we know. Miss, I wrote a book called My Mimi's the Mayor. I think that's great, by the way.
Thank you.
I really do. I really do. I mean, you know, so I've written a book. It's still in editing. It's not anywhere near ready to be published. But someone said, "Well, what do you hope to accomplish with this book?" I said, "Nothing. I'm not trying to accomplish anything." I said, "But you know what? At the end of the day, when all's said and done, at some point in the future, my kids, or hope to God, grandkids, will hold that in their hands and say, 'My daddy wrote this.'
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
my dad wrote this book." And it's fiction mostly, and because, you know, statute of limitations end up on some of that stuff, you know? But you know, I've worked a lot of political campaigns, and I've done lots of things that, especially to losing candidates, may not have seemed fair. But
Especially, huh?
yeah, especially to them. But it's just it's a book that follows a young man who gets into politics and some of the stuff he goes through and the things he has to do, and you know, the disgust he begins to feel with himself for, and then he justifies it because, hey, my candidate's the right guy, and you know, and if you've ever
In your mind.
if you've ever worked in politics,
Yep, that's how it is.
you end up there.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I justify it because my person is the right person for the job. And, you know, you run a sheriff's race in Louisiana. In Louisiana, the sheriff is the most powerful person in each
In the
parish,
parish.
because he's also the tax collector. It's like you remember the stories of Robin Hood about the sheriff of Nottingham, how he always had money?
Yeah.
And Robin Hood would steal from the rich to give to the poor, right? Well, the reason that sheriff had money was because that sheriff in Nottingham at the time was also the tax collector. Now, England has changed it since then, but France never did. And Louisiana still
Consequently.
operates under Napoleonic law. And so the sheriff is the ex officio. He gets all the money. And then whatever he decides to give to the school district is what they get. And whatever he decides, it's why Louisiana has some of the worst roads in the nation. Whatever he decides to give the road department is what they get. And
Plus, a lot of it's a swamp.
yeah, that too. But so there's not a more powerful position, and so therefore there's not a more contested position.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard it said before, you could run for governor easier than you can run for sheriff in some of those parishes
In Louisiana. Yeah.
In Louisiana. So, but you know, listen, I've been there, I've done that. I run some sheriff's campaigns and compromised what I believe to be my beliefs, and I'm not proud of it. I look back on it now, and somebody asked me, said, "Do you miss working in politics?" I said, no. I said, I don't like who it turned me into.
Right.
Yeah.
And I said, actually, it's not who it turned me into. It's who I allowed to come out, because that person is in me.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that person's there. And when I'm working a campaign, by the way, I don't run to lose. So I don't like who I had to become
To win.
And I you know, I worked hundreds and hundreds of races, and I just don't miss that part. The money, I miss that, because man, there was some good money. But you know, pulling up behind a certain establishment where, you know, guys with no necks and leather jackets in July come out with a, you know, sack full of money or sack full of whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in that sack.
It's close.
I've yet to ever touch that sack and put it in the front seat.
Roll out.
I don't, you know.
Write the book, Sandy. We need to read it.
I've written it. Like I said, it's in editing.
Get it out. We need to see it. We need to read it.
Yeah.
Make some assumptions. About some things.
There's some in there. Matter of fact, I had to call one candidate. I said, "Hey, man, listen. You probably didn't know this about your campaign, but if this book comes out,
It's in there.
it's in there. And there's a lot of people who know that I ran your campaign, and you just need to know this is true. This did happen. And
Or are you going to be all right with that?
Yeah.
Did you ask him it?
yeah, and he's like, man, I'm retired. Yeah, I'm great. I don't care.
Get your book.
Yeah. He put it out there. Put my name in it. I was like, no,
do you
because
like
the
that?
statute of limitations is not passed on
that
some
one.
of those things.
Yes. Be careful.
Look, I'll tell you, I put a plant in the question. The audience was asking questions of my candidate, and there was one area where my candidate had a little shaky. He had previously had a problem with opioids.
Okay.
And it was legitimate how he ended up. You got to remember at that time, they were handing out Oxycontin like it was cotton candy and not realizing they're just handing people fistful of morphine, and my candidate recognized he was developing, did not have a full blown, but was developing an addiction, went and got help. And that was that. But that was floating out there in the election sphere, right? So I put a plant in the crowd to ask him about it. And I purposely found someone who did not live anywhere in the area, like from 4 hours away. I paid them to drive in, ask that question, and then disappear. And I did not prompt I did not give him any heads up. And so when he gets asked about it, he's like, hey, I'm happy to answer your question, but let me ask you a question. Where do you live? He said, because I don't recall seeing you ever before. And he said, folks, I want y'all to look around. Look over here. Anyone go to church with this guy? Anyone ever seen him at a Little League game? You ever run into him at the store? And they're all like, no. And he's like, kind of what I thought. And so he says, that's how scared of us the other campaign is. They're going to send somebody in here to try to trip us up. Well, the whole place went crazy. They're throwing babies at the ceiling, like a Pentecostal tent revival. And next thing you know, that guy's gone. And he's like, and there he goes. And he says, but I'll be happy to answer. He said, I did was beginning to develop a dependency on opioids. And here's what happened. He was in his duties as a deputy. He had got called to back up another officer in a bar where there was a fight. And this officer's like trying to hold three guys off each other. This guy goes in and he gets whacked in the back of the neck with a pull cue and like dislocates some vertebrae. And it was like a long ongoing thing where he was trying to get well and the pain would never go away. And his doctor's like, oh man, listen, we got that. And he started giving these pills. And then my guy realized I'm developing an addiction. And so he got off of those. He ended up having surgery on his neck to relieve the pain. And it's still, I think to this day, is still there partially. But he had to address it. So then afterwards, he's fuming. He's pissed. He's like, I can't believe they would send somebody to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm just quiet. And he's like, hold on a minute. Did you? And I'm like, no, man, it's good. I can't believe they do that either. And so I had to call him and say, hey, you remember? He's like, yeah, I remember. He said, I've never wanted to punch somebody in the face as much as I want to punch that guy. And I was like, yeah, well, that was a setup.
There was a plan.
That was a guy I hired from Tyler, Texas.
Worked out.
Well, is that the way you wanted it to work out?
It worked out perfectly. Okay. And I knew it would. This guy he had no secrets. I mean, he's like, hey, I grew up here. Y'all know me.
Right.
He lived with the good and the bad decisions he had made in life. I had to answer the FBI 2 times based on his campaign. I got interviewed twice. I've been interviewed 3 times total by the FBI, but twice was over that campaign. Oh. And
write the book.
Yeah, well, again, some of that stuff, the statute of limitations hasn't passed.
Yeah.
So.
That's the part where you change the names.
That's right. I changed everyone's names. There's no, even the name of the parish doesn't even exist. It's a fake parish.
Okay.
So
now I'm ready to read the book, aren't you?
Yeah, it was fun. It was. Listen, I'll tell you this. When I wrote it, it was. I would come home and Casey would say, "Did you write any more to your book?" And I was like, "Yeah, I wrote a little bit just a few minutes ago." And she's like, "Tell me." And so I'd tell her what the latest. She'd say, "Hang on. The last thing I remember was blah, blah, blah." I'm like, yeah. So from there, and I would tell her, and she's like, "Oh my God, I cannot wait." Whatever. So anyway, let's take a break. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have some questions from Veronica. And she got to answer these. These are tough questions.
Oh, wow. We'll see.
Yeah. Here's her one thing about what was your favorite cereal as a child? Don't tell us now. Okay. But she'll have to tell us when we get back. All right, we'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
A new shipment of express boats is in at Country Village Sporting Goods. Or maybe your boat just needs a little TLC. We have appointments available in our service department. And of course, we keep a great selection of Catalina campers. New baits, new tackle, and the latest in gear are arriving every week. So when we say everything you need to get to the water, the woods, or the camp, you know we're talking about Country Village Sporting Goods, 965 Smackover Highway in El Dorado. Like us on Facebook.
Rated the #1 course in Arkansas by Golf Week, Mystic Creek is truly a hidden gem, complemented by a modern clubhouse, complete with panoramic views. It also features a fully stocked pro shop and Mystic Grill serving contemporary American cuisine and Southern classics. Mystic Creek promises an unforgettable experience.
Bad things happen, and of course, they never happen at the right time. Maybe it's just a little bump and cosmetic damage, or it's turned into a huge insurance claim, and you just don't know where to go next. That's why so many of your neighbors and friends call on Cook's Body Shop in El Dorado. From the minor to the major, Cook's Body Shop is in your corner. Need someone to help you deal with insurance? Look to Cook's. Need advice on what to do next? Look to Cook's. Need a free estimate? Look to Cook's. Bad things are going to happen, and when they do, look to Cook's.
When it comes to your family's financial future, peace of mind matters. At Harrison Financial Management, they are right here to help you plan, grow, and protect what matters most. Whether you're planning for retirement, investing wisely, or securing your family's future, they will guide you every step of the way. Harrison Financial Management, your future, their commitment.
Hey, welcome back to Off the Back Porch, onto the big couch with Sandy and Boomer, and sometimes Jax. Jax has got this thing where he said he's been on the program more than anyone else. Besides us, yeah. And he says, I think y'all should change the name to Sandy and Boomer and sometimes Jax.
I love it. I love it.
I told Boomer was like, we can do that. I said, yeah, but we're not going to. That's how I positively reinforce my children.
I love it.
I'm just like, great idea. Still not going to do it.
Yeah. If I beat you today, okay. Get in line.
That's all right. You have wonderful children too.
I do have great kids. You
really do.
Listen. When people ask me, and Barbara at Sonic used to be my favorite, Barbara was like, welcome to Sonic, this is Barbara, how are you today? Barbara, I am blessed and highly favored. I'm a child of a king. My father owns cattle on 1,000 hills. You hear me? He made me to be the head, not the tail.
Above and not beneath.
That's right. And she's like, hold on a minute. And she come running out one time and said, don't run off without me. I love Barbara.
I love
Barbara.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
And there was another lady, Aretha, I think. And I used to tell her the same thing. And she's like, okay, then. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah. But I am blessed and highly favored. And I had someone tell me one time, said, boy, that was lucky. And I was like, you could call it luck or you could call it blessing. That's more along where I fall,
Yes.
So, for those who don't know, I can't imagine how you don't, but Veronica was previously mayor and is currently a candidate for City Council Ward 2 and received the Democratic nomination for that position. And I want to be very clear. We had her opponent on the podcast a couple months ago. And so I told Troy then, I said, we're going to reach out to Veronica and we're going to have her come in. And we'll probably have you in again before the election. Okay. We are still planning to hold a debate this fall and hopefully get that all lined out and worked out. You've probably never experienced this, but you know what? I can't stand negative people online. You've never experienced that, have you?
None. She's never had that happen.
Enchanted life. We talk about Boomer living an enchanted life, right?
Yeah.
What is that? What does
Veronica.
that mean?
Yeah.
Who are negative people?
Mayor Sunshine right there.
That's
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Right. So here's what I can't stand. I wrote it down because it upset me so much. We posted a story earlier this week about Gage Reed, son of Patty and Jason Reed. Okay. Gage is an El Dorado High School graduate. He graduated with a degree in political science from the University of Arkansas and was recently hired by the city of Fayetteville to help address their homelessness problem.
Okay.
They have a real homeless problem. We posted a story about it. Local young man goes off, doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't you think that's what a community website that posts news would do?
Yeah. A good news story.
One of the, a matter of fact, the very first comment, because we share every story via Facebook.
Right.
The very first comment, why didn't he do that here? Really? That's your first comment?
Because he got offered a job in
There.
Fayetteville.
He got offered a job. Also, why would he want to do it here? Because let me tell you what happened. If the city of El Dorado had a homeless position, a position for someone to help with the homeless problem, because believe me, we
have one.
Yeah, we do.
And here's what would happen. 1 week after they hired him, and I think they said in the story, his pay is like $51,000 a year. 1 week after he was hired, some smart ass would be out there with their phone and snap a picture of one of these homeless people. Well, sure glad we've got that person who's taking care of our homeless. Like it's something that can be cured overnight.
Oh, yeah.
I have y'all know we've been trying to cure this problem for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, when I saw it, my blood boiled. Now, full disclosure, Jason and I were business partners for a long, long time, and Jason is still one of my best friends. So I feel a little defensive of his child, right? Just like he probably would be about one of mine.
Yeah.
And so your first response wasn't way to go.
Congratulations.
Hometown boy done well.
Yes.
Yeah. Then I was like, what is this person doing to fix our homeless problem? How much money have you raised, sir, to go out and get mental health help for these people?
Mm-hmm.
Why haven't you gone out and raised $250,000 to build a dorm style facility that can house these people? Why? Why haven't we heard about where you're having car washes and fundraisers that's trying to address the homeless problem in El Dorado, Arkansas? Why is it that you're pissed off about a 20-something-year-old young man who is beginning his life in public service, who could be making more anywhere else,
doing something else,
but is spending his time, spending his time and his energy and his youth trying to fix a problem that Fayetteville has that's about? Why is it that that's such a problem to you?
Yeah.
That's what infuriates me.
Yeah. And those kind of people, no matter what you do.
Exactly.
Well, we don't need, it's like the guy says, well, we don't need a new chandelier to church. We need some new lights.
Don't nobody know how to play one anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, it's just
that mentality.
The idiocy of it.
When we were on the radio, the city of Fredericksburg, Texas, had paid me, or my company, a lot of money. Mm-hmm. I mean, a lot. Because we had 28 radio stations in 3 states, and they paid us a lot of money, especially when you have stations in Hot Springs. Right. That's a vacation spot, right? Mm-hmm. They paid us to do these kind of live ad-lib things about Fredericksburg. We went to Fredericksburg, spent a week there. Beautiful city, by the way. Out in the Texas Hill Country, huge German influence. Obviously, Fredericksburg. It was just the best time, and they were prepared ahead of time for tourism. They've been working on it for like 20-something years, and they had microbreweries, and they had all this old town German stuff, and they had people who made boots by hand, and just beautiful stuff. So I come back. And I'm on the radio one morning, and I'm talking to the guys, and I'm telling them about Fredericksburg. Part of our contractual agreement for this large amount of money that they've given us, we had a listener call in on the air. Well, I just wonder if Sandy talks that good about El Dorado when he goes somewhere. Well, when I go somewhere, I may have a one-on-one conversation with someone, but like Pappy O'Daniel said in Oh Brother Where Art Thou, we mass communicate. We talking to the masses.
My constituency.
This is my constituency. We talking to the masses. I have the opportunity to speak to large numbers of people versus one-on-one conversations. But this guy, who was always that way, he was always just kind of an insufferable prick every time he called. But
just say what you feel.
I
say what you feel.
I would, but it would come out ugly. And And I'll tell you who it is off the air if off the stream if you don't remember, because you'll be like, oh yeah, he was kind of a prick, and not kind of was
He'll
one.
make you say it now.
Yeah.
But
Not what on streaming.
but one of those guys. You know, those are the kind of people that no matter what you say,
yes.
they're always going to, it was like the day that the day after the El Dorado Promise was announced.
Yeah.
Remember we had the guy calling and said, it's a pigeon drop scheme. Ain't no time that the big man's ever gave the little man money without there being some scheme behind it.
How many years passed?
20.
20 years now.
We're entering the 20th year of the El Dorado Promise.
And it's still funded.
And it's still funded, and it's still going.
Yeah.
And despite what some people in a certain community are saying, teachers in a certain school district, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
It's still, they were putting that rumor out a couple of years ago that, this is the last year they're not going to do the promise after this. And I was like, that's not true.
It's just not true.
I had the fortune of being involved in that a year before it was ever announced, and being involved in the inner workings of that. And I knew then this is something that can go on in perpetuity.
Right.
This is not something that they're going to do because they announced it for 10 years. But I knew then, I'm like, hold on a minute.
It's going to be longer.
If you're going to put that kind of money in there, I just know from basic math what the interest is.
Yeah, on $50 million.
And how that's going to trick. Oh, okay. I see what we're doing here.
Yeah.
I love Carl Malone came over to MAD and made a $100,000 donation, which I thought was awesome. And I told him, I said, I've never been a fan of yours. He laughed. He said, oh, I'm used to it. And I told him why, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But no, he gave $100,000, and Madison Murphy was there, and Claiborne was there, and they both thanked him immensely. And he said, hey, guys, stop. Let's not act like I'm sending kids to college. Okay, that's what y'all are doing. I gave $100,000, and it's great. I'm blessed to be able to do it. But let's not mix the two up.
Yeah.
Right.
And when people like that are like, I gave, but let's not mix that up with the $50 million.
Yeah. That y'all allocated.
And if you ever ask Claiborne will tell you it is absolutely the easiest decision he ever made as president of Murphy Oil. He told me, he said, Sandy, that's one day of operating expenses. And that was in 2006, by the way.
Yeah.
That's one day of operating expenses for Murphy Oil.
Yeah.
$50 million. It's not a hard decision.
Yeah.
And Claiborne traveled all over the state receiving awards from education foundations. He was Arkansan of the Year that year. I mean, all kinds of stuff. And he's like, hey, y'all can give me all the accolades you want, but it was not a hard decision.
Right.
Right. He said, we were just fortunate enough to be in a place where we could do that. And
blessed a lot of kids. Blessed a lot of
absolutely.
families.
Let me tell you the best story. And I wish I would have thought to get this young lady's name.
Sandy, all your stories are the best stories.
Whatever.
Go ahead.
Governor Mike Beebe was here, and he announced it. And it was in the old gym at the old high school.
I remember.
And I remember there's kids gathered in little circles all over the gym floor when it's all said and done. And there's a young African-American girl, and she is boo-hooing. And I mean, like, she lost a family member boo-hooing. Yeah. And I eavesdrop on her, and she says, just last night, I was talking to my mama and telling her, what am I going to do for college? And she said, baby, you can't go to college.
It's not there.
She said, but good news, I talked to my supervisor, and we got you a spot saved on the line out at the chicken plant. And she's crying. She said, now I don't have to go to the chicken plant. And I told Boomer that day, I said, let me tell you something. I don't know who else will benefit, but that young lady, she will get all the benefit from the El Dorado Promise. Yeah. She's not going to let that opportunity, because last night she had a job at the chicken plant. Yeah. And today she gets to go to college.
Yeah.
And I can tell you this, I've said it before, and please save your letter, whatever your name was, ass wipe. I'm not saying my kids are better than yours. Well, there's a guy that wrote in and was like, oh yeah. Oh, you can. It's real easy. Just don't care what people think.
Well, I'm there now. But
yeah. And he's like, oh, we know you're the better parent than all of us. You got a lawyer. But I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying I have a kid with a law degree. You know how much she costs me?
Nothing.
I've got a school teacher who's getting a master's this December. You know how much he's cost me?
Yeah.
Jax went to OBU.
Yeah.
Don't know if anybody knows this or not. Not the cheapest school in the state.
Yeah.
You know what that cost me? Wonder why?
El
Dorado Promise.
Yes.
And there were some things that I think if we could go back and talk to Edwin Alderson and Knox White and some of them, and they would say, man, we should have done this a little different or that a little differently. I don't think we were prepared for the influx of people because we got them overnight. The first thing we noticed was we don't have enough housing.
No.
We did not have enough housing. In our infrastructure, our internet was not good enough because there were people who could work from home, could work from anywhere.
Didn't have enough bandwidth.
We didn't have enough bandwidth because there was one family I remember. First of all, they moved here and said, "Man, y'all's housing is so affordable. We bought a house over here. That house will be $700,000 where we're from." They're from out of California, and they said, "We bought that house for $350,000." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. And, to us, that's a lot.
That's a lot of
money. That's a lot of money. But in no time at all, they had to leave because they couldn't get bandwidth enough for the wife to do her. She's a federal bank examiner. Her job is online, and they couldn't get enough bandwidth. We weren't ready.
No.
Yeah.
In a lot of capacities.
In a lot of ways. And we needed to do some things differently.
Yeah.
And I think, again, if you had the chance, I mean, even Cindy Langston, who was the spokesperson for the El Dorado Education Foundation at that time, she would tell you, there's just some things that we weren't prepared for. No. I don't think, Southern Living and Jet and Women's Day and Family Circle and all these other magazines came in and they did all these huge stories about it, center spread stories, and people just started packing up and moving.
Yeah. Because two cities in this nation that were doing that at the time.
Kalamazoo and us.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're on our way, and then they got here and couldn't find a place to live.
Our place to work.
When I came in 89, housing was a problem.
I moved here in 02 and it was a problem.
Yeah.
I've been here all my life. It's
still, and you're a problem. No.
When I
to some.
When I moved here, I actually had called Rutledge Properties and talked to Miss Joyce Rutledge, and I said, Miss Joyce, I was just thinking maybe she had something in Smackover because there was nothing in El Dorado. They were building the power plant out north of town, and there were no houses to have in El Dorado. And she said, I don't. She said, I have one apartment that's just come available. It's in El Dorado. And I was like, where? And it was like, it doesn't even really matter where. So it's a good thing it didn't matter.
Because it was there.
Because it should have mattered.
It wasn't the best part of El Dorado. Let me just say that. But I never had any trouble.
Well, yeah.
One time I had a young lady come up to my door and knock on my door about 11 o'clock at night. And I go to my door and I'm like, yeah. And she's like, can I come in and use your phone? I said, no, I can bring you my phone and you can use it. It's back when you actually had a home phone.
Right.
And so I take her, it's a wireless. Yeah. And she sits down on the stairs right outside my apartment and she makes several phone calls. And she knocks on the door again. She said, can you give me a ride? I said, no, I can't. And the truth was, I said, I have a company car and I am forbidden from giving anyone rides. Yeah. And so she left. I don't know where she went or whatever. Well, like 2 that morning, my phone rings in my house, and I get up and I answer it.
Oh, they're calling you back.
The guy like, who's this? And I'm like,
who's this?
You called me. And he's like, no, you called me. I said, I can promise you, I didn't call you. Yeah. And I said, now there was a young lady came to my door earlier. He said, little white girl, blonde hair, about 5'2". I said, yeah. He said, all right, I know who it is. I was like, okay.
I'm glad you did.
Thanks for calling.
Because I have no idea.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, thanks for calling at 2 a.m.
I had a kid show up at my door several years ago. He said, would you pop my popcorn for me?
Do what now? Hold up. What? Wait a minute. How we get several years and this is the first time you've ever told this story? Sindel.
And I knew the kid because I'd see him walking by and he wasn't quite right. I said,
oh my.
You want me to pop you?
So can't get right?
Yeah. No, can't get right. Yeah. So, y'all don't have a microwave? No. So I said, just wait right here. So I popped his popcorn but then we were friends, He was always coming over and
pop.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, not for popcorn. Wow. He just wanted to.
He wants somebody to visit with. Just want somebody to visit with.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in a tennis match.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let's talk about you. Let's talk about you, Veronica.
I don't know if I should ask for that either.
Yeah. Looking back, I think that you won your first election in 2018, and became the first woman of color and the first woman to ever be mayor of the
First
city.
person of color.
First person of color.
Period. Yes.
Yeah, to be mayor of the city of El Dorado. What did that feel like to you?
A lot. Very heavy.
I was going to say, was that? Did you feel a responsibility?
I did. Even in the run of it, because I found out when I began my campaign that I was the first African American woman to ever run.
Now, you didn't have an opponent in the primary, did you?
I did not. I did not.
Had three on the Republican side that ran against each other. And one of the guys who lost over there, I remember his concession speech. He said, "Hey, y'all don't sleep on Veronica." He said, she's going to run a tough race.
That would have been Chris.
Yeah.
Lippman. Yeah.
Yeah, I recall.
We're still dance partners. Whenever we see each other.
And then, election night, it was, for those of us who dabble in the world of politics, it was an upset. You were not expected to win.
No.
No. And you pulled off that win. You got dealt a very, very dirty hand with COVID. That was not, I mean, man.
Yes. And can I say this, and not to interrupt you,
but yes, go ahead.
so, but I'm grateful that it was me in office at the time.
I understand that.
I'm grateful that it was me because the city, just like the country, needed someone with some compassion. Needed someone that knew the Lord. Can I say that?
Yeah.
And so, although it was really hard because the unknown
was the hardest part. Yeah.
But I really feel like it was for that time. I needed to be the mayor.
You're in the kingdom for such a time as this.
That was it. That was it.
And then you got the double whammy of Murphy Oil announcing they were leaving. And that's when we had you over with us on the first time on the podcast, was like right after that.
Yeah.
And I remember asking you, I was like, Madam Mayor, how do you lay down at night? And you're like, hey, you have to have your relationship right upstairs. You have to be right here to be able to.
Yes.
It was a very sad, man. That was hard all around town. Even though most of us in the know realized that really only equated to about 50, 60 jobs.
There wasn't a lot of people.
Right. Wasn't a lot of people because Murphy had been moving people out
all the time
for years.
And they had been saying that for years, that they were going to move. And what my response was when I was asked is that we had to be grateful that it happened. Because for me, looking at it from my position, we're in COVID. Now, if we get over COVID and then they leave, now we have to get over that.
Yes.
So
it was like just hit us with all at once. That's right. Rip it off. Yeah, rip it off.
And so let us just take care of all of it right now. And so that was the way I had to look at it, because you couldn't change it.
No, there was no changing it.
So we got to deal with it. And so that's the way I saw that as well.
At the same time, you did have people who were still out there investing in our community, even during COVID, even after Murphy announced they were leaving. You had the people who came and opened Excalibur right during the middle of COVID. And then you had Dean Morrison, who came and opened Off the Rails.
Yep.
And I mean, you had some businesses that opened.
Yeah.
And it was such a strange time for everyone.
It was.
I still go back. I think we have a whole generation of kids that don't know how to interact socially.
Right.
Ooh, that's true.
Because even when they were allowed back in school, they were still made to social distance.
Yes.
They still were not allowed to socialize in school. We gave so many the opportunity for like 3 years to not go to school, to go to school online. And I said this to Boomer last week. I was like, my 18-year-old and her boyfriend can sit next to each other and have a whole conversation via Snapchat.
Yeah.
And even though they're sitting next to each other, the damage that has been done from COVID, I don't know that we will know the full extent of that maybe for another 20 years.
Right. It changed things forever.
It did. It did. And then to find out we were lied to. A lot.
Yeah.
Kept telling us it came from bat soup in a wet market in China, when we've now found out factually that it came out of a lab in Wuhan province. Oh, by the way, the guy who's in charge of protecting us from COVID,
His lab.
It was his lab. The guy who we now found out who supposedly had a medication that would save people from AIDS, was killing people. And, Magic Johnson was the one who brought that out. He's like, hey, I quit taking the meds and all of a sudden I'm better. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were just lied to so much. And then we just spent money like we had it just like it was no end in sight.
Yeah.
And, I remember when we hit $4 trillion in debt during the Iraq-Afghanistan fiasco, another thing we were lied to about. Throughout that whole thing, we hit $4 trillion in debt. And I'm like, we don't bring that in a year. How? And now we're $40 trillion. We just act like that's not even a real number. Like Cat Williams said one time, he was talking about Oprah. He said Oprah's worth however many billion. He said, you shouldn't be able to stand upright when someone says billion. That should knock you over. Billion. It just knock you over just right there.
So trillion should make you sleep. It should just knock you off.
It should just be knocked out.
That's telling the truth.
Yeah. About a lot of
things.
Oh, man. You don't believe me? Ask Diddy.
Yeah.
We'd have never known. We'd have never known. We'd have heard whispers. We'd have heard rumors.
Yeah.
But we'd have never known the full extent had Cat not come out and said what he said on that Shannon Sharp podcast.
Well, beyond that, we don't handle the truth well.
No, we would rather be
I've
enchanted.
said so many times, we would rather believe a beautiful lie.
Yeah, it's so much easier.
We don't want the truth about a lot of things.
That's
right.
right.
So the person that brings the truth,
kill the messenger.
Kill the messenger.
That's right.
Yeah.
A lot of times that is the case.
That is.
I don't want to. I prefer not to. We can if you would like, but I would prefer not to go back over your mayoral tenure.
Okay.
And
now we can if you like.
No, I just told you. I just told you I wouldn't like to. Not in this instance. In a debate, there will be things that we'll need to talk about. Okay. But there were things, and like I've said earlier, there's nothing I say about Veronica that Veronica and I haven't had that conversation. I told someone the other day, I was like, Veronica knows I didn't vote for her, but she also knows my son worked his tail off in her campaign.
Yes, I remember that. But to be honest, and can I be honest?
Absolutely.
I really don't know who voted for me.
That's right. Unless they come up and tell you.
It really doesn't matter. I told someone told me more or less, because I voted for you, you should do this or that. I said, I can't. I said, you said you voted for me. I don't know if you did or not. I said, my husband said he voted for me.
I don't know that he did. I know I had more than one vote, so somebody other than me voted for me.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was.
Yeah.
And so,
well, that's not how it works. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to do something for the people who voted for me.
Yeah.
That's what gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
There's a whole, see, there's one reason I didn't want to go down that rabbit hole.
I'm sorry.
But no, there were things that happened during Veronica's tenure as mayor that I 100% agreed with, and things I 100% disagreed with. The beauty of it was when I disagreed, I went to her and not to Facebook.
Yeah.
And not to Twitter and not to TikTok.
There was a campaign. There was
listen,
there was a campaign.
And there
we go with the ugly truth and a beautiful lie, because there were a lot of lies told.
This is the same. Okay. It's the same thing going on right now. You can love Paul Schroeder or hate Paul Schroeder. But there's people out there that if Paul Schroeder saved a dying child, they swear he did it wrong.
Yeah.
Or that he got a kickback out of it. You can love Mr. Hartzell or hate Mr. Hartzell. That's up to you. But the man could save a child from being eaten by pit bulls, and you swear he did it for some underhanded reason. There's just going to be people who are never going to like you. Yeah. They're always going to see a conspiracy. They're always going to see something that's they view it from a filter of that's untoward. And you can't.
It's funny that you would use those two examples.
Well, those are the two. Those are the two that's right now the hottest in the headlines.
Yeah.
You know, but I can say the same about Willie McGee.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Now Willie knows I love him, but listen, there's never been anyone who's tore me up one side and down the other more than Willie McGee did in a city council meeting one night. It wasn't necessarily directed at me.
Right.
He was making a point. He got clowned a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I know that comes as a surprise to some of y'all. That, you know, Willie likes to hear himself talk every now and then. You know?
Yeah.
Like this last city council meeting, 3+ hours. I'm like,
it wasn't just Willie.
It wasn't just Willie. No, it was not.
Because I recorded it. I
know. I watched it.
Me and Jax had to sit through it.
I know. Jax texted me and saying, "Here we are just now to this point." He sent me a picture of the
I was
agenda.
holding up the agenda.
And he's like, we're just now here. We're 2 hours and 16 minutes in.
I don't think my battery is going to hold up.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. So, I mean, and they did the same thing to you that they're doing to Paul. Every time that legislative audit comes out, and no matter what it is that's done wrong, they're on it. They did it to you. I was sitting in those city council meetings when and heard the comments that they were saying back then. And I just wanted to look at any of them and say, have you ever run a multi-million-dollar organization?
No.
Because let me just tell you, if they came in and audited any of us, they could find something.
Oh yeah. And sometimes they don't find everything.
Bingo. And, I mean, so all that being said, let's talk about the future.
Okay.
Why did you decide to run for city council instead of running back for your position as mayor?
So when I was making the decision, and I think everybody may know if they know me about the whole Crime Stopper situation and me getting arrested and all of that. And I know a lot of that was because it was to deter me from running for mayor. I don't care how anybody else feels about it. I know that was part of it.
Let me interrupt. Mm-hmm. I heard this. I never confirmed it with anybody because we didn't care to run a story saying such.
Right.
But initially we were told that one of the plea bargains that was going to be offered, whether it ever was or not, was if you take this plea, part of the agreement was not to run for office. We heard that early.
Yeah.
And I said the only way that's legal is if they end up she pleads to a felony.
Mm-hmm.
She had to plead to a felony for that to be legal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I said I just don't know that that's the case. But yes, the Crime Stoppers thing.
That was a part of it. And so after all of that was done, and some people don't understand, it's pretty much done, but it's not done. I would have probably run for mayor had Andre not been running. Mm-hmm. And he had already made the decision to run. I didn't want to get in because we're both Democrats.
Yeah, y'all would just bloody each other up.
We would have had to run against each other in the primary. And, I've had a shot. I know he's run before, but, he has maybe a relatively good shot. I didn't want to mess that up for him. And so I felt like running for city council, if I would win and he would win, I could help him out. I would be able to be an asset to him. And I feel like I could do a pretty good job from the city council position. When I was mayor, I was telling people that the power is really in the council.
That's true.
That's true.
Now, whether they use it correctly or not is the question. Because we know under my administration, they changed some things. And so that's why I'm running for city council. I believe I could do a good job for the community.
That's all you want to hear. Is I want to do a good job for the community. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to hear.
Yeah.
What you don't want is I can't wait to get them sons. I can't wait to get them back. And that, and
you know what?
That's not you.
That is not me.
That's what. And I told someone, they're like, Veronica's just. I was like, I don't know that. I said I don't know that at all because I know Veronica pretty well, and I don't see that. I
will say this: the fact that I'm running proves that what you tried to do didn't work. Now that I will agree with.
I have
now, if that's getting them back, so be it.
Yeah, well,
but
there's some people that I get them back when I wake up every day. They're like, damn, I was hoping he'd die last night.
He's alive still.
He's still alive.
It was important to me. And back to the arrest, because for a lot of people, I think what they thought that was going to do is make me shut up, be ashamed,
cower back into the shadows.
Down. That's not me either. And so you didn't do what you thought you were going to do.
I'm recusing myself from any discussion about that.
Okay.
For this one reason only. I wrote the bylaws. I personally wrote them and then when I was done, I handed them to William C. Nolan Jr., Mr. Nolan, and had him read over them, look at them. And then those were the bylaws that I was the first chairman
of what?
Of Crime Stoppers after its reiteration. I think it had been operating before. Yeah. Now there's some stuff floating along online that they lost their status as a nonprofit in 1998, and they may have, but what we formed was a different corporation. It's not that same one. Or else I wouldn't have had to write whole new bylaws. But Alexis Alexander and I were the first we were co-chairs.
Okay.
That was first couple of years, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, we raised a little money and made sure they were on good standing. And then I served on so many boards that I was just like, at that time, I was on the board at the hospital, Salvation Army, Crime Stoppers, Arkansas Broadcasters Association, and about 5 or 6 National Association of Broadcasters, 5 or 6 others. And a lot of them it was just an opportunity to go eat free lunch. They weren't doing anything. I was on the country club board of directors. I mean, it was just an opportunity to go and partake of some benefit. And that's not why I would get on boards. I wanted, if we weren't doing something.
Yeah.
Because listen, that hospital board, that was work. That was free. I worked my butt off on that thing.
Yeah.
And then to just watch it.
But they'd say something in a meeting and then say something different. Not this group that's running it now, but
no, it was CHS. And man, that was. We had a lady from CHS one time that comes in and she's going to tell us how we're going to do things. By God, you're not doing things like every other CHS hospital, and you're going to. And
but we're making money.
I was like, have you talked to your CEO about this? I speak for the CEO. I'm like, I don't think you do. I said, because I just got off of an airplane with him.
Okay.
Mr. Nolan and I went and picked him up on the Murphy jet. Actually, I think it was the Nolan jet. But anyway, we went and picked him up on a jet. And we flew him around for a few hours so we could explain to him what we would and would not allow.
Right.
And we had assurances from him that what was happening right there in that boardroom would not happen. We would not have some executive vice president walk in and tell us how we're going to run our hospital. And
sure enough, it happened.
And she was trying to. Mm-hmm. And so this was back in the days of Palm Pilots and Blackberries, right? Yeah. And she had this cute little assistant boy. He was handsome. And he's over there. He's burning a BlackBerry up. And I don't know who he messaged and what they said and what was said back and forth. But I just know at one point his hand comes around. He puts that phone right in front of her face while she's telling us about y'all are gonna do. Oh, but okay. I've got to get back. I've got to get back to corporate. We'll carry on this discussion another time.
Yeah.
Bye. Have a good day.
Have a good life.
And the people on the board were like, "You weren't." No, I'm not scared of her. I was put on this board not because of my medical knowledge. I have zero. Mm-hmm. Okay. I said I was put on this board from a business acumen. That's the whole. When they asked me to be on this board, it was like, you've run multi-million-dollar corporations. You know what it takes. Right. We need you from a financial and business standpoint to help us. And there were things I would say. I remember one time when America Farrell was CEO, she comes in and she's just like, oh my gosh. They had a woman who'd give birth. And if the woman would just sign this paper, the government would pay for, it was a C-section, so it's surgery. It's not an easy birth, right? Mm-hmm. This is an expensive birth. And she's like, I'm not going to sign it. And America goes and says, darling, do you understand if you sign it, you won't owe it? She said, I don't care if I owe y'all, I'm not going to pay it anyway. The woman looked her in the face and said that. And I said, see, America, that's why I couldn't be a hospital CEO, because I'd have wheeled her ass right out in the parking lot and left her there.
And said, get off my gurney.
If you're telling me already you're not going to pay me, I don't want you griping when your ice water runs low, okay? That's like walking into your favorite restaurant and say, hey, by the way, I tip 4%.
Yeah.
That's the kind of service you get.
Oh, wow.
Bring me one glass and 2 empty glasses with ice.
Yeah. So, but that's not why I was on there. I was on there for my business sense, whatever little that is. Yeah. But it came in handy when we were dealing with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I'm going to tell you, I've never, ever been in negotiations with someone like them.
I can imagine.
And I would just say we would come to an agreement. We came to a point where like, great, we have an agreement. And then I would get back to my office and we'd get a fax. For a press release, Medical Center of South Arkansas not negotiating in good faith. Blue Cross Blue Shield customers left in peril. And I show up the next morning, I'm like, guys, what is this? Oh no, that came out before. No, it didn't.
Oh my gosh.
No, it didn't.
It's amazing what you find out.
It's time-stamped, guys.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's amazing what you find out.
So I dealt with a whole lot of that, and for CHS, they didn't care. Yeah. They said, we have 7 hospitals in Arkansas. Y'all just collectively bargain. Well, those other 6
are losing money.
They didn't care what Blue Cross Blue Shield did. They were Medicaid, Medicare. That was their biggest payers. Ours was Blue Cross Blue Shield. We cared. what came out of that. So we ended up, it ended up being poor Kyle. He was the CEO after America.
Yeah.
And Kyle was a great guy. Would sit and listen. If you had 2 hours worth of stuff you want to complain to him about, Veronica, he would just listen. Now, he's never going to do any of it. But he would just listen so
you just need a
attentively.
good listener.
That's right. And if you ever needed just someone to go in there and just talk to, I remember there was a rift between the orthopedic surgeons and the hospital, and I think that was public. I don't think I'm violating any NDAs. No, it was public because it ended up being in the newspaper at some point. And I went and visited with Kyle. I said, Kyle, look, I know Greg Massinelli can come off as an ass. I said, I get it. But he's not wrong. Just because you may not like the messenger, that doesn't mean the message is wrong.
That's it.
But poor Kyle, it was like he had to call Chattanooga to check and make sure it was okay if he went to lunch every day. You know, he was not going to do anything without checking with corporate first. And you know, what come of that? Well, the orthopedics went out there and built their own surgery center.
Yeah, they all got their own.
And to me, all they were asking for is treat us as well as you treat the heart doctors.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of money we bring in here with knees and hips and you know, shoulders and elbow, treat us
and
as
hands.
well. Yeah,
I just
and
had
the
the
C-sections that they do on hands. Yeah. Treat us as well as you treat the heart doctors. And that to me was the ultimate ask in all of it. Now again, Greg would sometimes do, kind of went off on them a little bit, and I'm sure if Dr. Massinelli had the opportunity to do that again, well, he might say, hell yeah, I'll do it the same way. But I don't think so. I think he probably would have said things a little differently, but he wasn't wrong.
Right.
And but poor Kyle, he couldn't make a decision on his own. And but after sitting on that board and then just watching what the hospital was becoming, I was like, I just can't do it anymore.
So I don't have some information in my head that I need, and I'm just sitting here dwelling on it. Who is in Ward 2 now? Who's our?
Well, it was Vance Williamson, and Judy Ward, and
Don Miller.
Vance has left, and then Don Miller.
I knew Don Miller was
has temporarily filling that role.
I couldn't remember if that was them. So
yeah, that's right. Now, you and Lance are running for an open seat, basically.
Isn't that funny?
Isn't it though?
That his last name is Greer and my last name is Creer. And Vance and Lance. Yeah. You think they're gonna get confused a little bit?
Listen, I quit guessing what the voting public would do like 57 elections ago.
What even makes them come out anymore? I don't even know.
You know, I'll tell you this, Veronica. Leading up to the primary and the mayor's race this year on the Republican side, when early voting started at the auditorium, every day, either Jax, JW, or I would go down there. And we would ask people when they come out, we would say, we're not going to ask you your name. We don't want to ask you who you voted for.
Right.
Who do you think is going to win the mayor's race? I think we had 213 responses. I think it was 107 to 106 in favor of Paul. Everyone expected that to be a super, super tight race. We asked, who do you think will win the city attorney's race? Robert Rushing had a very small lead, like a percentage or two. Obviously he won. Yeah. And then we asked them, who do you think will win circuit clerk? And Tanya Allen was by far and away. Everyone felt like she was going to be the winner. But so on election night, I'm fully expecting the mayor's race to be close. And it was anything but.
Right.
And I wrote a story the next day. I had employed 2 different political consultants, and this is what I asked them to do. Watch our debate. This was a couple days before the debate. I said, watch our debate. Keep your opinions to yourself and just hold on to those until election day. And then after the election, I want to know what you thought. And so election night, while the polls had closed, but the votes were still being counted, they both sent me emails with their thoughts.
Okay.
One guy who's a Democrat has worked in the Biden White House, worked on both of Obama's campaigns, worked for John Kerry. I mean, this guy knows his stuff, right? He nailed that mayor's race. He said, Paul Schote will win running away. And he said, I can tell you right now, Rico is spending all of his time talking to people who are not going to vote in that election. And so when I called him the next morning, I'm like, I think I know what you meant, but what did you mean? He said, I didn't catch the number, Sandy. He said, but you only have 4 wards. Right. He said, but you have one that's majority African-American. Mm-hmm. I said, yes, Ward 3. He said, okay. He said, Rico was spending all his time in Ward 3. He said, I can just tell from the way and the things he was saying, he was spending all of his time in Ward 3. He said, did you happen to look at any of the numbers from your previous elections for Ward 3 residents in a Republican primary? I said, as a matter of fact, I did. In 2018, we had 3 Republicans running for mayor. 0 votes were cast in Ward 3. Mm-hmm. 0 were cast in Ward 3 in the Republican primary. This last primary, 45. 45.
He brought them out.
Well, you know what? If you're getting, hey, no one can say 45 votes don't matter.
Right.
You can prove that.
Yes.
So, I mean, what told me the night that you won that you were going to win was your numbers in Ward 1. Your numbers in Ward 1, I was like, yeah, Veronica's won. I remember telling everybody, I was like, Veronica's won. Y'all can stand around here and look at numbers all night, but I'm just telling you, this race is over. Veronica's won. And, but again, I'm kind of a student of the game. I'm kind of a nerd, and I study this stuff. But
I wasn't agreeing to you being a nerd.
Yeah, well, I am. But those 45 votes would have been great if he would have drawn just a few more in Ward 4, a few more in Ward 2, and a few more in Ward 1. Right. But he didn't. And I get it. I think Rico's whole campaign was about reaching people he believed to be disenfranchised. Yeah. But you can only do that after you've shorn up a base. And I think it was just a political rookie mistake. I don't think that means there was anything wrong.
Yeah, it just needed to be more.
Also, and I've heard this at least a dozen times, you cannot forget, for whatever reason, you can say, but we are still in the South and people are still biased. And when he went door to door and people had a hard time understanding him, that immediately leveled a bias against him.
Yeah.
I've heard it too many times for it not to have been a factor in that race. So I don't know, I don't know what the mayor's race holds. Andre has worked very hard to change his public perception over the last couple of years. He has.
He's grown.
He has, as I hope we all have.
Yes.
I think that the city attorney's race, I don't see how that comes out any other way than Mr. Rushing winning it. I think there's just too many unanswered questions by his Democratic opponent.
Okay.
And that, I'm not saying, hey, it's a June. That election's not till November.
Right.
Lots of stuff can change.
Yeah.
If you don't think so, ask George H.W. Bush, who had a 91% approval rating when the Democratic primaries were going on.
He said, I ain't got time to campaign. I'm going to run the country.
Yeah.
Should have campaigned.
Should have campaigned. Bill Clinton was jogging up with them pasty-ass white legs up in there, him and Al Gore running into McDonald's ordering French fries.
Playing saxophone,
yeah.
And we loved it.
Hey, listen, that guy was a campaigner, man.
Yes. So
but there wasn't a better moment in that Democratic primary than when Paul Tsonga, senator from Iowa, Delaware, somewhere, who looks at Bill Clinton and says, "Governor, is there anything you're against?" And Bill Clinton I'm against children who go to bed hungry. I'm against parents who can't pay their electric bill. I'm against people who are finding themselves on the short end of the stick while people like you just continue to collect money. And hey,
he won it right then.
Right then. Yeah. That primary was over. You hear me? Yeah. OVA. Over.
And I did try it in college, but I just didn't inhale.
It was the dumbest shit he ever said. Come on, Bill.
But people are still saying it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's still a great line.
Yeah.
So obviously I got to meet him when he was here in 2012, and so he looks at me and says, "So I understand you made a pretty good living off of impersonating me." And I was like, "Oh yeah, Mr. President, and I'm trying to
try not to do it."
And he's like, "No, let's hear it." And I was like, "No, sir." And he said, "I got Secret Service. We could take you to another room."
Okay, let's do it.
So I looked at him. I said, "It's a Republican's fault that I screwed up." And he said, "And it was."
In fact, I did.
In fact, I did screw up, and it was their fault. But that was that when I started my radio career in 1993. He was just in office, and for whatever reason, I could do an impersonation of him. And so I was at a little radio station, Veronica, that we had my paychecks bounced, so I couldn't have somebody come in there to do the show with me.
So you had to improvise.
He was everybody.
So I would record these parts that was like on them big old reel-to-reel tape machines. I would record these parts that was supposed to be Bill Clinton, and I would play them, and I would just interact with this part, and it sounded like he's sitting right there in studio.
Oh, wow.
And, I just found different voices I could do, and that's kind of how I got my start. And then, next thing we know, we're the number one radio station in the Shreveport DMA, and it's like, how did this happen?
In Center.
Yeah. And of all things, in Logansport.
That's right.
In a town of 1,000
not
people.
Even Center.
And we're kicking the big boys around up in Shreveport, and our whole goal was to get to where we were such a pain in the side of some of the big boys that they'd come and overpay us for our station. And they did. It took 7 years. But it happened. And
consistency.
I got a little sweat equity in that group, and but it was a fun time. But yeah, you never want to do the impersonation to the person you were impersonating.
Yeah.
You just don't. And
but that had to be a good feeling. That
it is now. It wasn't that day. I went home that day and I'm like, they're gonna find me dead on a train track somewhere, making fun of Bill Clinton all them years.
So after the impersonation, what did he do? Did he shake your hand?
He just laughed and patted me on the shoulder.
That's
good, son.
That's good.
That was Bill Nolan had died like maybe 2 weeks before that.
Oh, okay.
And 2 or 3.
When in 12.
In 2012. No, that's when Bill Clinton came.
No, not when. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So when Bill Clinton gets up to speak, the very first words out of his mouth is, y'all have to know, coming to El Dorado will never be the same for me without Bill Nolan and Jody Mahoney here. And I was like, that tells you how much influence those guys had. And that is what we are now missing in South Arkansas. There was and I've told the story here before, there was a time where Edwin Alderson always had to have the latest, newest gadget, whatever it was. He wanted to be the first person in his friend group to have the iPhone, for example. Okay. So we're in Russellville. We're trying to buy some radio stations. And I was driving. We were in my vehicle. And he was sitting in the back seat, and he just left his phone because, you could actually live without holding your phone at that time. And we get out and we spend a couple hours trying to buy these radio stations, and it's not really working out. We get back in, and Edwin says, "Oh, I have a missed call." And he's like, so he hits a button. "Yeah, this is Edwin Alderson. I had a missed call." "Yeah, absolutely, sure." And so, we're merging onto the interstate, and all this. And Edwin's like, "Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. No question about it. Yes, sir. We will take, yes, sir, not a problem." And Bill Nolan looks over at me and says, "Whose ass is Edwin kissing back there?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." The chairman of the board of Murphy Oil gets up on his knees from the front seat and turns around at Edwin and is like, doing this. And Edwin's still like, "Yes, sir, absolutely, sir." And he's flipping him off. And I'm like, these two are like 11-year-olds, very, very wealthy 11-year-olds, And so finally Edwin says, "Well, Bill's here. Do you want to talk to him?" And Bill's like, "I don't want to talk to anybody." Edwin shows the phone and says, "Bill, it's the president." He said, "Of what?" He said, "The United States. And he said, "Which one?" He said, the current one. It was George W. Bush. That's the kind of power those guys had. When the president of the United States needs to get something done and he picks the phone up and calls Edwin or Bill, that's power.
That's power.
Again, Knox White, another one. And there's a host of those guys. Claiborne's still there. Madison. But that's what I don't think people understand we no longer have. Right. Because every one of those guys that falls off, every one of those guys that passes away, you don't have someone now who can pick the phone up and call a U.S. senator and talk to him the way I heard U.S. senators get talked to by those guys. Right. Or who can call up a president. I was in Mr. Nolan's office one time, and someone knocks on the door and says, "Mr. Nolan, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's the president." And he's like, "I got his number. I'll call him back." And I'm like, "Bill, my stuff's not. He said, no, I told him what time to call me. He's an hour late. He can wait for me to call him back.
That's power.
That is.
That is power.
Yeah.
But, and and look, some of that power just strictly comes from wealth.
Yeah.
But the other part of that comes from these. You think that he and Edwin and Claiborne and Madison are the only people in the Murphy family who ever had any money? No. But why did they have that? Because they took that wealth that they had and they did something with it. And one of the last conversations Mr. Nolan and I had, we went to Hot Springs together to our radio stations there, and we're driving back, and he's telling me about this lake house that he just bought for his wife, Deborah. And he said, Sandy, my thing is one of these days when I'm gone, he said, Deborah needs a place that's hers. All of her friends and family, they're all here around Hot Springs and Arkadelphia area. She's not going to want that big old house down in El Dorado. She likes it now because I'm there, but if I'm not there, she's not going to want that.
She's not going to stay there.
And he said, so I bought this house. I way overpaid for it. And he told me what he paid for it. And he said, then I spent this much in remodeling it. And now I got a house that's not worth this much. I put this much into. He's kind of mealy-mouthed. And I said, Bill, stop. I said, enjoy your wealth.
Yeah.
And I said, Bill, do you realize that it's because of you that, and people like Edwin and some others, that there's a Jet Asphalt, that there's a Medical Center of South Arkansas, that there's that APL became Entergy, that there's a Share Foundation, that there, and I just, a Walmart, and I just start naming them off. Luter Timber, Minoco, Deltic. I mean, I'm just going down the list, just what I could think of top of my, I said, it's because people like y'all put your money to work.
Yeah.
And I said, Bill, I don't have to remind you, you have some cousins that have never worked a job in their life. They've lived off dividend checks their entire life. Y'all made jobs for other people.
Right.
Enjoy it. Enjoy your wealth.
Yeah.
The spoils of your victory. And he seemed like that lightened the burden to him. He's like,
you're right.
Look at you, Sandy.
And that was the next to the last conversation we ever had.
Wow.
The next week he left and went to New York and was gone to New York for a while, worked out at the Yale Club, came back, had called me. And as I'm getting ready to walk in his office, he said, no, just stop there at the door. He said, I've got something. I don't know what it is. I don't feel good. And matter of fact, I'm fixing to go to the doctor. And then he relayed a couple of messages to me and I was like, okay. And it wasn't common, but it wasn't totally uncommon for him to say when I'm walking off, he said, love you, Sanford. Love you too, Bill. And I walked off. That's the last conversation we both participated in. I talked to him when he was in the hospital and vented, but that was not the same. But and I loved that man. I loved that man almost as much as I love my own dad.
Wow.
And I tell people all the time, I said, look, I feel like I got a master's degree in business administration from working for those guys.
Yeah,
I can tell you this, and Bill told someone one time, he introduced me to someone, he said, Sandy's the best contract lawyer we have at Walmart. He said, hands down, he's the best contract lawyer we have. I didn't go to college.
Right.
But for Bill Nolan, who went to Yale and Yale Law, to say that, I counted that as a huge compliment. But let me tell you how I became that, because of him. I took him a contract one time. Whoo, man, did I learn a lesson. I took him a contract. So Bill, they sent me this contract to look over, and he's like, where are your notes? I was like, oh, I don't have any. He said, you haven't read this? And he slings it across the desk at me. He said, don't you ever bring me another contract that you first haven't read, and two, you don't have some ideas and notes on. Don't do that. Don't bring me crap like that again. Do you understand? Yes, sir. And I never did. And let me tell you, I got the sweats going back to 8th grade English on diagramming sentences. That's a lost art.
Yeah.
But it is necessary when working a contract.
Yeah.
Because a comma here can change the entire meaning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so I would read these contracts and Bill would say, good catch, Sanford. He said, good catch. I don't think I would have seen that. Yeah, you would have, Bill. Eventually you would have.
Yeah. Like your dad teaching how to play dominoes.
Yeah, exactly. Bam! Listen, if you've ever been involved in a dominoes or spades game where the table gets slammed, you hadn't really played. That's how you know. And there's people like, what do you mean, slam the table? You're not, don't worry, you're not going to the cookout. You're not invited. You're not going to make it.
We played Moon.
Or
Moon
Boo-Ray.
in 42. Dominoes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cars, game of boot race. I've seen people getting fist fights. I've seen knives get pulled over a game of boot race. No, I'm not playing.
No, in South
I know you're not.
In South Louisiana.
That's why I say, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of Cajuns in my family, so
So we teaching the guy how to play, and it says, "Man, if you do it like this, if you go low, and you don't play your top one." I said, "Man, you get in trouble. You get in a fight." He says, "This is a dangerous game."
Yes,
said,
it is.
It is.
You get a bunch of you get a bunch of Cajuns drinking Schlitz, and all of a sudden a knife comes out.
Yeah. And you playing match the pot bourrée.
Somebody wearing them white shrimping boots from over on the West Bank.
Reeboks. That's them white Reeboks.
Yeah. So let's take a break. How about that?
Okay.
All right, we'll come back. We'll have more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
When it comes to protecting your home or business, trust the name that's been serving South Arkansas for 3 generations, Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal. From residential roofs to large commercial projects, the experienced team at Cross delivers quality you can see and reliability you can count on. Cross Roofing and Sheet Metal, built on trust, proven by results. Call Cross Roofing today. Put a solid future over your head.
For over 6 decades, Glenn Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations, family-owned and operated since 1956. Glenn Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlennMechanical.com.
Serving South Arkansas for 25 years, and all the while expanding and growing throughout the state. ProMed Ambulance is proving their motto of world-class care and hometown values. For example, their new mobile integrated healthcare communication center. This state-of-the-art facility allows communication specialists to work directly with local 911 call centers to ensure the closest medical team is always dispatched to any emergency. World-class care and hometown values. For more information and career opportunities, go to ProMedAmbulance.com.
Non-stop phone calls, registered mail, repossessions, or threats of lawsuits from creditors, and it seems like no one is willing to let you hit pause and just catch your breath. You need the help of Robert Rushing and the Rushing Law Firm. Bankruptcy is not the end. It could be a chance for a fresh start. The Rushing Law Firm goes to work for you, letting you hit that pause button and start over. Call the Rushing Law Firm today at 870-875-2940 or stop by the office at 725 Northwest Avenue in El Dorado. The Rushing Law Firm.
Hey, welcome back to Off the Back Porch and On the Big Couch with Sandy and Boomer and our special guest, former mayor and current candidate for Ward 2, Position 1. It's always hard for me to remember which position is whom, but Ward 2, we know that.
For sure.
Ward 2. Veronica Smith Creer. And thank you for coming and being here with us. And, again, I think you were our very, very first guest. Isn't that right, Boomer?
She was.
Way back when, back in 2020. When we did the very first one of these.
I had on the blue dress, I remember.
You did? Yeah. I do remember that.
There's only one reason you remember a blue dress.
Shut up.
Hey, I had to go there. I had to go there.
You see how he does.
I'm telling you, he just threw that in.
Yeah.
And for me to remember that is unreal. So.
It is. Yeah, because Boomer can't tell you where he was before he got here.
Yeah. Or why
he was on the way.
Why I stopped.
Okay. I know
I stopped there for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, last week I called him. I said, player, are you showing up? He said, I'm pulling up. Okay.
I'm on the way up.
Just wanted to be sure. Well,
it's been nice hanging out with you.
No, it's been great. It's been great.
Thank
and you're welcome anytime.
Well, I appreciate that.
And, the great thing about us having our own facility now is that we can do this whatever time we want. Right. That's why when you told me yesterday, you said, ooh, that time may not work. I'm like, what time works? Yeah, because we can make it then.
Yeah, we had to do it between lunches and suppers.
Yeah, we had to do it between lunch and supper when we were doing it at Main Street. Which, by the way, we were doing it at Main Street for so this is episode 63.
Yeah, we did 60.
We did 60 episodes at Main Street.
Okay.
We did 58 because we did one at Country Village and one at Davis Farms.
Davis Farms, yep.
And but we did at least somewhere around 60 at Main Street. But the thing was we had to get there when the lunch rush ended and be gone before the supper run started.
Yeah. And not always the case.
Not always the case.
Yeah.
And just again, those seats are great if you're sitting there eating pizza and BSing with your friends.
But after that,
but after an hour or two,
but for 4 and 5 hours of doing a podcast, those seats are not great.
Right.
These are much better.
Okay.
These are much better.
I can attest to that.
This one reclines and that one reclines. So I mean, we could actually be just
take a nap. Get back
Boomer
to
told
it.
us last week. He said, "Hey," he leaned this one back. He said, "If I fall asleep, just say my name real loud." yeah, that's what I said. That's what I meant to say anyway. So
I wasn't even there.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's amazing.
Again, if you had to sum up what you're hoping to accomplish in running for Alderman Ward 2 in a few words, what would that be?
Awareness. I want people to be aware of what the council is supposed to do, for one, and what I would like to do in that position. Transparency, because obviously we don't have a lot of that. And accountability.
Boomer and I had this discussion. I said, there was a guy who told me, said, well, evidently transparency is the buzzword. And I said, whoa, hold on. This guy's a Democrat. And I said, let me tell you who I blame. Y'all. And he's like, what do you mean? I said, tell me right now, in your heart of hearts, who you think won the 2016 Democratic nomination for president. Well, Hillary Clinton. I said, no, I'm not telling you who y'all put up. Who do you think won? He's like, oh, well, Bernie. I was like,
that hairy guy from
Bernie,
Vermont.
Bernie, right. I said, but then y'all started playing with super delegates and y'all did this and that and the other and over here and over here. And then next thing you know,
do the hand job.
Hillary's the nominee. That's fine. Tell me who you think won the nomination in 2020. Well, Joe Biden.
Come on now.
I said, do we need to talk about Iowa? Do we need to talk about the Iowa caucus? When they said, this is the first time ever we're going to see the results live. And Bernie's lead just kept growing and growing and growing. And all of a sudden, all the computers stop at the same time. So you want to know why people want transparency? Bernie's won the nomination twice. And didn't get it either time.
Yeah.
That's where, look, they've been playing this game with us. This didn't just start.
Yeah.
And by they, I mean
the
national
level.
On the national level.
Yeah.
They've played this game with us for years, generations even.
Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is people figured it out.
Yeah.
We figured it out. It's like Troy told me one time he was playing in a golf tournament. And they come in and there's 3 teams. They're all tied with the same score. And the guys who are going to figure out who won go to a back room and figure it out and come back out. And this is who won.
Yeah,
I'm 4th.
Right.
We were 3 of us tied.
There was 3 of you tied for first and you come in 4th.
We came in 4th.
Now, how does that happen?
Me and Bill Lewis.
Well, it just happens sometimes.
Me and Bill Lewis.
You forgot to carry the 1.
And you subtracted and yeah.
They didn't do the chords right there in front of us. They went in. It's another town. It was
another town.
Wow. But transparency is a.
But there was one scene in the House of Cards, and you and I have talked about this. But I want to tell. Did you watch House of Cards?
No.
Oh, you need to.
I don't know half of what y'all been talking about, so it's fine.
Okay, real quick. You watch Scandal. We know this because you were always my Olivia.
Yeah, okay.
And I used to tell her that when she. Oh, by the way, let me confirm this now because there was someone was like, you've never liked Veronica. I said,
what?
I said, hold on a second. I said, I went to Veronica years ago. I don't remember, 20 years ago maybe, and said, Veronica, I think the Black community in Union County needs a voice. I want us to have a program on our radio station called Black to Basics, and I would like for you to host it. Is that not how that conversation went?
Pretty much. I remember I was coming in doing commercials.
PSAs and commercials and stuff, yeah. And I was like, I want you to host it.
Black to Basics, the NAACP Speaks.
And she would come in every week. She would come in every week. She had guests. Sometimes I think y'all would call people and have them on. I mean, and I was like, so I don't know who you're talking about, but anyway, when she would come in, I would say, there's my Olivia Pope. And people like,
it's Olivia. A good series.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great series.
Great series.
But House of Cards was the political game. And the scene I'm talking about is the two opposing Democrat and the Republican. They got in the room, they're going to talk it out, and it got down to the basics. It was not about what I want or what you want. It's like, all right, you do it now, and then I'll do it later, and we'll criticize the other one.
Yeah, you go ahead and be president this time.
Yeah,
I'll be president next time.
Yeah,
and listen, I've been in those rooms. Those conversations happen. I've been in those rooms.
Heir apparent things.
Yeah, those things where it's like, and look, you don't have to love the guy. You don't have to even like him. But that's one reason they hate Donald Trump, because he was never one of those guys in the room.
One of those guys in the room.
As a matter of fact, he looks at the room and says, "Flush it," And so now, does he have his own issues? You better believe he does. Do I wish he somebody would take? Do I wish somebody take his phone away from him after 11 o'clock? Yes.
Go to sleep.
For a guy who doesn't drink, he sure makes a lot of drunk texts at night. I'm just going to say that. But all that aside. And again,
they can't control him.
They can't control him, and that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
But it was the same thing with Bill Clinton. The Democrats hated him. Does no one remember that?
Yes, they
the
called
Democratic
him in
Party
on the carpet.
hated him. That's why when the whole Monica Lewinsky thing came out, they said he's done because he has no favors left in the Democratic Party. Because the Democrats hated him. Why? Because he was pulling Republicans in. I've said before, the most conservative president in my lifetime was Ronald Reagan. The second one was Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Because someone told, well, Trump's not even conservative. I said, tell me the last one that was. I was like, George W. Bush? No. Romney? No. McCain? No. George H.W. Bush? The guy who ran the CIA? No.
And Schlumberger? Or Halliburton?
Halliburton, right? So I'm like, probably not, But Bill Clinton, which honestly, there was some of that agenda that went through great and we still reap the benefits of today.
Yeah.
Some of that agenda went through that we are still reaping the benefits of today, and it's not in a good way.
Yeah.
The crime reform bill, no, that wasn't him. That was George W. That was a fiasco and a disaster that needs to go away.
It does.
No child left behind. But
so many.
Because some of them need to be left behind.
Yeah.
And so many have been.
Yes. Yeah. We ain't leaving you behind, but you stay there.
Yeah. We're just going to leave.
Yeah, we're just going to leave. We're not leaving you. We're leaving the situation. We're just going to go start our own school.
Yeah.
And we're going to get, boy, don't get me started on that. But
and we can let everybody take that money with them.
But then we're going to criticize you for how you're not doing anything because you don't have any money.
Politics is crazy.
So how are you going to show more transparency? What you just going to hold people's feet to the fire?
I say that all the time.
Or are you going to do that?
We have to hold people's feet to the fire. It was okay for me. Let me take off my shoes.
Yeah, you got burnt toes. You got burnt toes.
Because I think a lot of times citizens really don't understand the power that they're supposed to have. Politics is crazy. I will say that. And local politics shouldn't be as crazy as it is. It just really shouldn't be, because we live in El Dorado. Everybody knows everybody. And so for us not to know what's going on, to me, is crazy, because it's easy to ask if you want to know. And so that's one of the things that I found out being the mayor, is that people love to say that you got to do it. You've got to do it. The city has to do this. The city has to do that. And they have really no idea about what the city can and can't do, about what different positions can and can't do. And to me, that was a part of what I did while I was in office. I tried to explain procedures and all that. Well, you see, a lot of times you shoot the messenger because you don't want to hear that. And that's a part of transparency, is really explaining what's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen, and who's supposed to do it. Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't like is when you make them accountable. The city isn't supposed to clean your street. The city is not supposed to clean your yard. There are a lot of things that the city is not liable for that you want to hold them accountable for. And so to me, that's a part of being transparent, is really telling the truth about who's supposed to do what. And for whatever reason, if you've gone to a city council meeting, you don't always get that. You get a lot of fluff. Now, the last meeting that was 3 hours really shouldn't have been 3 hours.
No.
But they could have taken that 3 hours to really explain what's really going on.
Well, they're too busy arguing and one-upping each other.
Well, the hospital. We still don't know what's going on with the hospital if you're looking at the city council meetings. The food truck ordinance. We still don't know what's going on with that because they're not telling the whole truth about everything. the situation with the summer school. I mean, the summer youth
Summer
program.
youth program.
Who knows? Because things are not being transparent because not only the one-upping, they lie. They just lie. You didn't do that. You didn't say that. And that's not what happened. The situation with the dog catcher, and people can feel however, animal control, because he's not even supposed to be just the dog catcher.
Yeah. Animal
people
control.
don't know the whole ins and outs of that. They know what they see, and they see just, well, some people see what happens in their own neighborhood. Mm-hmm. But as far as his contract, as far as what he's supposed to do,
it's out there.
But how many people have really looked at it?
But that's what. Now, whose fault is that?
That's our fault.
Yeah, theirs. It's their fault.
Yeah.
If you're not,
the ones that
you will not find a more dogged advocate for the Freedom of Information Act than me. When I was, incidentally, Mayor Frank Hash appointed me to the Parks and Playgrounds Commission, and I told him, I said, Mr. Hash, I didn't vote for you. He's like, I don't care.
But what does that have to do?
I want you to do a good job. And I told Frank Hash on day one, I said, I have no agenda. So if there's something you hope to accomplish with the Parks Commission, you let me know. I will work on getting it done. And if it works out, you get all the accolades. Yes. If it goes tits up, you get all the blame. I'm never going to take your role in either one of those. And, except for one time, he abided by that.
Right.
But in a city council meeting, I said earlier about Willie McGee ripping me up one side down the other, and it wasn't really me.
Right.
I knew that. That's why I wasn't offended by it. First of all, it's hard to offend me. You got to really hurt my kids or my wife,
right.
and then we can talk about offense. But I knew what he was doing. I knew who he was making a show for.
Right.
And but all those people who talked all tough all day to me that day about what they would do and wouldn't do, you know what they all did?
Nothing.
Sat there like this, the first they've ever heard. And I didn't name people. I didn't name names. Guess what? I don't have to. They know and I know. And to this day, they still know that I know.
You still know.
And there were things that were decided outside of open meetings that I called out. But my very first day as chairman of the Parks Commission, you know what I did? I walked in and I handed every member, Tiffany Hughes, Louis Neal, Ricky Rapp, Michael Rice, and me. I handed every member a copy of the Freedom of Information Act, and I handed them the latest iteration of Arkansas Sunshine Laws. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we will abide by. There will be no three of us meeting in the grocery store and talking about anything.
Can't do it.
Not going to happen.
It's against you again it.
Michael Rice came to my house one night to help me put together. It was right before Christmas, to help me put together some bicycles. Another member of that commission was going to come by, and I said, "You can't.
Can't come by.
There's already two of us here.
We wouldn't have a quorum."
But my whole thing is I know I wouldn't have let us delve into that, but it is illegal.
That's right.
And
that's right.
If you're going to set out there, you have to be above that. The threshold. What does the Bible say? To flee the very appearance of evil.
That's it.
I believe there's been a lack of transparency on a lot of levels, and it didn't just start with this administration.
No, there was a lot under my administration.
There was, and I think that this is all coming to roost, and I think that anyone who hopes to serve will realize that.
Yes,
but at the same time, let's not. Why would anyone want to? If everything you do, you're going to be called a liar, a thief, a cheat. Look, there was someone who was talking about this person at the city's getting kickbacks. Do you have proof of that?
Right.
Because there were things I thought you did wrong as mayor. But I remember telling people, there was a city council person I got into an argument with about it. I said, I think that was done wrong. I said, but I think that was a mistake made out of ignorance. I do not believe that was a mistake made maliciously.
Right.
And they told me how wrong I was, and I told them how wrong they were.
I'm the first to admit that.
I think there are things that have gone on for generations of iterations of the city council that are now trying to be fixed, and it's some of that stuff's going to come home to roost.
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. Listen, 2023 was not the first time the city ever ran in deficit. It's not the first time it ever happened. God knows I loved Bobby Beard when he was mayor. I did. But there was one problem I had. When I looked up and the city had $17 million, and I'm looking at potholes and water leaks, and I'm like, hey, you collected my money, now do something with it.
Because I'm a tax-paying citizen. I heard that every day. And you're absolutely right. No one can say that they've had a perfect administration.
No.
And one of the things that I can say is that some of the mistakes I made because either I didn't know or I trusted the wrong people. But it's still a mistake.
I've been there.
It's still a mistake.
It is.
And so you have to own it.
You have to own it.
You have to own it. Whatever it is.
We did it yesterday. Last night, I am in conversation with someone in the administration of the Harmony Grove School District. Okay. They had a big, long school board meeting last night, went into executive session, come out of executive session, and announced that Dr. Albert Snow would no longer be superintendent. The person that I'm conversing with says to me, he's been fired. So my initial story I put out last night, Harmony Grove School District fires superintendent. Shortly after that story went out and went up, about 10 o'clock last night, I got a call from the president of the school board who said, that's inaccurate, and you need to take that down. Yeah. I said, can you tell me what is accurate? And he says, he is no longer the superintendent based upon a legal agreement between him and the school board. Any questions beyond that, you'll need to take it up with our attorney. I was like, thank you. That's all I needed. Yeah. I fixed it, but here's how I fixed it. Correction. Go find that story right now on my website. The word says correction. And the very first paragraph says, we erroneously said he was fired.
That's it. You got to own it.
That's on us.
That's it.
Now, we took that from someone who was involved in the process. I've since talked to again, and they said, I should not have said fired. I should have just said it ended.
Yeah.
And they've taken their part, but I'm the one publicly who has to wear it. But I'll wear it.
Well, it's just semantics.
That's it.
It is. It really is.
They just don't want to say fired.
Yeah, well, because there's some legal implication in that, and I get it. But I owned it.
Yeah.
It was ours. I caught a lot of hell because the explosion that happened at Wildcat Recycling. We put in our story that it happened on Tuesday. It was a Wednesday. Here's what happened. I didn't write that story. My partner, Grant, did. It was the second work day after a holiday. I'm sure Grant Merrill is the only person who's ever called a Wednesday a Tuesday because it was the second work day after a holiday. I'm sure.
When you're confused about what day you're on. So, yeah.
We reported that there were multiple explosions. There was only one. That we reported people were being live flighted out when no one was live flighted out. I just told one person, I was like, there's a pesky little word in there. It says reports are. In other words, here's what's reported to us. Multiple explosions. Reports are life flights. The only reason there wasn't a life flight was weather.
Yeah.
Because even after they got our buddy over to the hospital and they got him stabilized, he still needed to be flown to somewhere.
Right.
They were even talking to Pafford Ambulance, because Pafford has a fixed wing aircraft. Okay. They have an airplane. And they were going to fly the airplane into Goodwin Field, get him on the airplane and get him out. But then they would have had to fly around weather to get here. And Ken Kelly at ProMed said, hey, by that time I can have him in Shreveport at the burn unit.
Okay.
I can already have him there. So that's the only reason it wasn't a life flight. And I told this person, said, if it didn't violate the confidences of the people who reported that to me, I would show you the screenshots. But I'm not going to. I don't have to.
But it was reported to
But they said, but you didn't say anything on that post. I'm not going to. I don't have to.
No, you don't have to.
And it was like, there was someone who kind of took a couple of swings at me over our political debate we had back in February. That it's only for the special crowd. It was never for the special crowd. We had one candidate who had told me out of his own mouth, I'm bringing 100 supporters. That place can hold 200 max, 215 max. I can't let one candidate do that. So I just shut it off, said, no, it's going to be a ticketed event. We gave every candidate 10 tickets and we gave every sponsor 10 tickets.
Mm-hmm.
And we handed out 200 tickets, and we had 191 turned in. But there were some people who took some swipes at me online. That's fine.
Yeah, you can take it.
I didn't answer them. I don't care about them. But there was one guy who ends up being there that night, and he comes up to me afterwards. And I said, man, I guess the part that bothers me, I said, you have my cell phone number. You could have called me at any point, but instead you went to Facebook. And he's like, and it was on one of my posts. And he said, man, I got to tell you, I respect the fact that you never took that down. So I'm not going to take your post down. The only posts we remove are ones that if somebody says something libelous or slanderous against someone else that could end up implicating us, I can't let that happen.
Right.
I took down, for example, the incorrect story last night about the Harmony Grove superintendent, and then put it right back with a different headline and the correction as the first paragraph. But I'm not going to delete comments unless you're harming someone else. Now I won't let you do that.
Right.
Because you just got to, like, it goes right back to what you said. You got to own it.
You got to own it. And if you said it, own it.
Listen, I talk for a living. I say stupid stuff all the time. The great news is I have editorial control over what goes out here. I get to edit.
You can change it. Yeah.
I get to edit what's said here. Mm-hmm. And so if I go through, I'm like, man, I shouldn't have said that. I can take that out.
Right.
We've had guests who were here that called me later and said, hey, you know what? I said blah, blah, blah. I probably shouldn't have said that. Do you mind taking that out? Mm-hmm. Troy's called me and said, hey, I said blah, blah, blah. I don't think I said that the way I meant to say it. Mm-hmm. Can we we can take that out.
The beauty of editing.
Yeah. And I tell every guest that comes on here, you have full editorial control. If at the end of the thing, you tell me, hey, I don't want that. I shouldn't have said that, or I didn't say that correctly, or I've learned better since then. Tell me. I'll take it out before we post it.
Well, I can appreciate that.
It takes about a week before this is going to be posted anyway. So you got time. So if there's anything, like Sandy, you shouldn't have said that. Call me and tell me. Sandy, you shouldn't have said that.
Well, Sandy, let me start. You should.
She got a list. She got a list already. So Veronica, thank you.
Can you write this down, Sandy?
Okay. Get your pen and pad out. It's going to take a minute.
Yeah.
But
thank you so much, Veronica. I really do appreciate you coming.
And I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad. I'm glad. We'd love to have you back.
Yes. Yeah. You can read excerpts from your book.
Now I have 2. And I'm working on the 3rd.
Oh, are you working on the 3rd?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, you see that? Hey, wait a minute. You see that? Yeah. Like,
so my first one was, of course,
there's some bodies
my
that we're going to
Mimi is
unearth.
the mayor. Yeah. And that one, as you mentioned, I wrote that just as a keepsake for Skylar.
Yeah.
Because she was born when I was running for mayor. So her entire first 4 years, she was in the
her Mimi was the mayor.
Her Mimi was the mayor. And that's all she really cared about was that I was her Mimi. The mayor part
didn't matter.
Didn't even matter. Mm-hmm. And so the other one was lessons learned, the things my grandmother used to say.
Okay.
Lessons learned from words of wisdom. And so that was the one that I was supposed to write first because I'd been telling my daughter I was going to write a book about my grandmother. Okay. And so the next one will be about me being the mayor.
Okay.
And everything that went with that.
Okay.
So, yeah. I'm going to leave some of the names in.
Ian.
Did you catch that, Boomer?
Yeah.
I believe some of the names in.
Ian, yeah.
That dang Sandy Sanford was in my office again today.
Everybody will know Sandy. Yeah. I'm waiting for your book. That's the one I want. So, A title? Is that a title?
Behind the Bayou Curtain.
I like that. I like that. So,
And
I'll give you a copy of mine. I'll swap.
Absolutely. Behind the Bayou Curtain. And then I've already started the follow-up, and it's raising the Bayou flag. So,
well, hey, let's do it.
We'll see.
I'm coming to the book signing.
Well, that's assuming anyone wants it.
You got one sold. I'm going to buy one.
Oh, no, I'm going to give you one. You don't have to buy it.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Veronica. We do appreciate it very much. And we're going to take a break. We'll be back with more of Off the Back Porch right after this.
For 50 years, one name has kept South Arkansas rolling strong: Smackover Motors. From brand new rides to dependable pre-owned vehicles and hard-working fleets, Smackover Motors has helped generations find the perfect fit for the road ahead. And long after the sale, their expert service department keeps you moving with trusted care, honest work, and hometown service you can count on. 50 years of keys, miles, handshakes, and community. Smackover Motors, driven by service, powered by trust since 1976.
Welcome to Davis Farms Country Market in El Dorado, Arkansas. This is more than just a place to shop. It is a place where local farms, markets, and families can share what they do best. Inside, you'll find fresh produce, locally raised beef and pork, farm fresh eggs, jams, honey, seasonings, baked goods, grilling supplies, and plenty of Arkansas-made favorites. There's also a deli serving sandwiches, salads, gumbo, and other tasty choices. So whether you are planning supper, shopping for a gift, or searching for something delicious, stop by Davis Farms Country Market. Just be careful. You may come in for one thing and leave with 17. Davis Farms Country Market.
32 years ago, a young Robert Rushing began his life of public service joining the El Dorado Fire Department. While saving lives during the day, Robert Rushing put himself through college and law school at night, eventually opening a law practice in 2010 to protect and serve the rights of people in South Arkansas. By the way, he was still working as a fireman at the time. And after 23 years of service, Robert Rushing answered the call again and was elected as city attorney. Today, Robert Rushing still has that desire to serve. Re-elect Robert Rushing as El Dorado city attorney.
Everybody loves a parade, and hilarious pizza throws parades all week long. Bring the family in for your favorites, or explore the variety that Larry's Pizza offers. Come join us at Larry's Pizza for the greatest parade ever.
Hey, welcome back for more of Off the Back Porch with Sandy and Boomer, and sometimes Jax. And Boomer was it was nice having Veronica here. She was great. She was fun.
She did a wonderful job, and good to hear from her.
Absolutely. You know, Boomer, I hadn't thought about this. I wish I could take credit for this, but I cannot. A friend of mine was like, "Hey, have you ever thought about what Forrest Gump would be like if he had been a millennial?" Instead of a baby boomer?
I guess I never
have either.
Yeah.
But say what you will, but he wrote it out for me, and I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
First of all, Forrest would go to a rocket launch and give one of the astronauts his juice box. That astronaut would turn out to be Krista McAuliffe, and the launch would have been the Space Shuttle Challenger.
Okay. Yeah.
Forrest meets then Vice President George H.W. Bush for winning some kind of contest at school. And during that meeting says, "Mama always says, read my lips." And do you know that man said that on national TV? Forrest meets O.J. Simpson on the night of the Nicole Brown murder. Somehow ends up involved in the white Bronco slow speed chase.
Oh my!
Like maybe
he was in everything.
The car Forrest is in is like backfiring and can't go, and the Bronco can't get around them.
Yeah, the slow chase.
Yeah. Forrest ends up on the Arsenio Hall show and sitting next to a saxophone playing Bill Clinton and says to him, "Your wife doesn't seem very pleasant."
Who wrote this?
This is a friend of mine from Texas.
That's good.
Forrest has an encounter with Chris Farley and tells him about one time we used to live in a van down by the river. Forrest goes to Iraq or Afghanistan instead of Vietnam, and just about every other part of the story is the same.
Yeah.
But he gets his presidential medal. He gets it from George W. Bush.
Yeah. Again.
Had to go to the
White House. Again.
So the hurricane that wipes out the shrimping industry is Katrina. Forrest invests in some kind of little mail company called Netflix. And a little bookstore named after a river in the Amazon. Yeah. Forrest meets a young senator from Illinois and says, "You know, my mom always said when people say we can't, we just say, yes, we can."
Oh, my word. He wrote everything.
And I'm like, man, that would be, you know what? I'm not sure I would like it. I'm not sure I would like it better. But, man, that would be cool.
That would be a good movie.
They've talked to, about a Forrest Gump sequel, which it's way too late now.
Yeah.
But, and the guy who wrote the original screenplay was like, nah, it's just not.
Yeah, that's one of it.
Yeah, it is a one of a kind.
One of a kind.
I mean, that's a once in a generation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I guess,
but you know the way we were, they've written 3 iterations of that.
Yeah,
and Cape Fear's got a new one coming out.
Do they really?
Yes.
Wow.
I forgot who's playing
Robert De Niro's part.
De Niro's part.
Yeah. Bobby D.
Bobby D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, you talk about a guy who don't like Trump, by the way.
Oh.
Robert De Niro.
He is like stand on the corner.
Yeah.
Hollering at him.
Yeah. But whatever, man.
You know what? And that's here's the deal. We talked about it earlier with Veronica. You know, there are a lot of things I wish he wouldn't do. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people that support him that there's a lot of things they wish he wouldn't do. I wish he wouldn't be so bombastic and have to say everything over and over again about what he's done. And it's never ever been this. It's never been done. Frankly, I don't think it's ever been done.
Some would say best ever.
Best ever. You know. Yeah. And the election.
Yeah, look.
Let it go.
We know you got screwed in 2020.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let it go.
But it's over and done with, man. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
You know, we remember.
But then, because he doesn't have to toe the party line, he's able to do some things that, you know, there were commercials, and I'm trying to remember which company it was for, but it was just a bunch of hard hat, blue collar guys that were doing the country's business, and they'd work on one thing. So, all right, that's done. What else? You know, they were used to getting things done, and I think that's how he is. We was with business. You know, just get it done.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it done, we'll find somebody else to get it done.
We'll find somebody who will.
Ask some of those that haven't been able to hang on.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
so of course by the way, hats off to the FBI. I'm normally not I'm kind of a critic of Federal Bureau of Investigation.
The boy's mama turned him in.
But yeah, they were going to have drone attacks.
Yeah. And they were, Ruby, was it Ruby? Someone of them said, we can defend against a lot of stuff on the ground. He said, but we can't defend against, and maybe that's not a good thing to say, but they can.
Yeah.
But it's
Have
harder.
you ever seen the top of the White House?
Yeah. Yeah.
That thing shoots lasers. Okay.
But they were going to.
You got to take my word for it. Fly something over there and see what happens.
Over there. Yeah. Just shoot a drone up over there.
If you want to know their response time on that, fly you a drone up out of Tranquility Park over towards the White House.
Yeah.
Just let it get close and see what happens.
Yeah.
Next thing is, and it'll be disappeared.
It sounds like one of them little.
It went to Guantanamo.
It'll reappear in Guantanamo.
Yeah.
One of those bug zappers.
Yep. That's that. But you know, Trump has caught a lot of hell for the UFC event on the South Lawn.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I seem to remember then President Barack Obama had an event on the South Lawn with a whole bunch of environmentalists, and they're all up there crying together about the environment. And then I definitely remember President Joe Biden having the Pride event on the South Lawn, and they actually had to remove people from the event because they started taking their clothes
off. And also,
by the way, those were funded by the taxpayer.
Now, there were parties that went on at the White House during Obama administration, and Obama, himself said, there was, people come to the White House to party, and just like it's at your house, they just didn't want to leave. And Bruce Springsteen was playing, and he says there's some things done in front of George Washington's picture that I wouldn't be wanting to mention. And Christy Teigen and her husband said they said it. And another guy said, smoked a little weed at the White House. Mm-hmm. Now, are they the first people that have ever done that? No. But and Martha and I said, maybe I wouldn't have had a UFC fight there. But
it didn't cost the
taxpayer a penny.
$60 million, and Dana White picked up the tab.
Yeah. And did you see everything?
Oh, my gosh.
It was like a circus, brother. There was a bunch around it, but then there was a whole group that was huge monitors.
I think they estimate 200,000 people.
Yeah, 80 watching it. Looking at the ring, and then
I mean, that's out of this world.
That's bizarre.
It is bizarre. So.
But Dana White, now he doesn't own that anymore. He's the president and CEO.
He is.
I believe some Middle Eastern guys own it. Is it?
No,
is it Chinese?
No, Vince McMahon, his company.
Is it?
Yeah,
I thought it was
WWE
or
whatever
foreign company that bought it.
Well, now who knows who owns Vince McMahon's company? But I know Vince McMahon's company has ended up with the controlling interest of that. But I mean, look, it's awesome that we live in a country where you can disagree and still be here.
Yeah,
you don't have to agree.
Yeah,
and again, I'm catching lots of hate mail right now, and that's okay. I got pretty thick skin. I can wear it. But the biggest issue I'm finding is people want me to agree with them, and because I don't readily do so, I'm not saying I won't. I just want to investigate it a little more. I want to look into it a little more. They want me to agree with them, and because I don't, then I'm part of the problem.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's not just local. That's
nationwide.
We believe that shouting down people is okay now. Or that that you need to take out people.
So, by the way, Boomer.
Okay.
I'm glad you said that, because that brings us to our next topic.
Okay.
What are we offended by today?
Yeah.
I told you that's going to be a new thing we're going to do. St. Paul, Minnesota protesters are asking why the rest of the nation is not flocking to St. Paul, Minnesota to back them up in their fight against ICE. Have you seen the videos out of St. Paul lately?
Yeah.
I mean, it's disgusting, first of all.
And a lot of them are from not St. Paul.
Right.
They're from Portland.
Yeah. So I was having this discussion with a guy today at lunch, and he was like, well, you know what the problem is? They ain't whipped enough of them's ass. And I was like, well, that's one. I said, but
that's
to me,
not the answer for everything, but
no, but it will fix a lot of problems. But I said, if you want to know the truth, if you want to disperse that crowd, walk out there with a couple job applications. We'll see how fast they break up then. My gosh, man. Listen, I've never seen so many disenfranchised white people in my life.
I know. How are you in St. Paul in the middle of the day protesting when everyone else is working?
Who's paying you to be there?
Exactly. And I want to tell you, the
by the way, we know
this. Yeah. GS. The absurdity of a lot of this, like the guy said, we had just whipped enough of them's butt, but a guy said, I want to tell you what the problem is at the border. If we'd set up some deer stands about 200 yards back from the border, we could solve a lot of that. He said, fellas, he said they would volunteer.
Hey, and you ain't got to shoot all of them. All you got to do is get one or two. And you see. Then stop. Listen, I've been hunting before and have a whole group of deer come out, and I'll shoot one, and all the rest of them will just stop.
It's like
if I don't move, he can't see me. I'm telling you, you ain't got to shoot all of them. Just those fastest two or three.
We're kidding.
Okay. Those fastest two or three, those are some unlucky individuals, is all I'm saying. The first two or three make it across, yeah. So sad to be them.
Our good buddy, Rodney Wimberly, God rest his soul.
Yes.
Used to go to the Plains States and shoot groundhogs, but they would do it from distance.
Yeah, they didn't get from me to you.
They'd get 300 or 400 yards and pop them.
With pistols.
Yeah. And so those guys,
they wake up every day saying, please let today be the day.
Looking for something to shoot.
Please let today be the day they put them deer stands up. Honey, I'll be back. I'm going to Uvalde. What are you going to do now? Whatever they tell me to, ma'am. Whatever they tell me to.
What are you carrying your guitar for?
Yeah. So, look, you can try to equate, there are people online who are equating these people who are fighting against ICE with the revolutionary patriots.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
No, it's it's paid people, and I'm not making stuff up. Everybody's sign is the same. They hand out signs. There's cases of bottled water placed at intersections. It's organized.
It was like during some of the BLM protests. You could go on down the street 10 minutes ago and there's nothing there. 10 minutes later, there's pallets of water, pallets of bricks, and signs and torches, all within 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not organic.
Yeah, that's not organic.
That doesn't happen by happenstance.
Yeah, and most of them didn't go buy a poster board and make their own sign.
No, they did not. And it's just if you believe that these people fighting against ICE are doing it because they just truly 100% believe this, and that's the only reason, you're gullible.
Yeah, you're very gullible.
Because that's not the case at all.
And politically speaking, and we've been a lot on politics today because we had
a politician.
A politician came with us, Veronica. But I'm really, even though I'm a conservative, I'm really scared for the Democratic Party because they've ventured so far.
I wonder if they've lost their soul.
In that that causes the other party to be able to do what they want.
That's it. And believe me,
if there's
I don't want a 100% conservative agenda.
No.
I don't want that.
I don't either. Because
next thing you know, we're all worshiping at the same church. Okay? I don't want that.
Yeah.
But that's not the answer.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be dumb. It's another thing to not know that you're dumb.
Mm-hmm.
But it's yet even another thing to know that you're dumb and continue to be dumb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's where I think we're seeing the disconnect.
Yeah. And you're seeing cities like New York and then DC where they're trying to elect people. Mondami really has some ideas that are undoable.
Yes, they just can't happen.
It's easily said. If you just say, well, I want the government to do everything, and everybody goes, well, I think they ought to. But then the guy that runs the multi-billion-dollar corporations that you want to take all this money says, I think we're going to move to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're going to go to Austin, or we're going to be in Dallas.
So
and so your tax base is gone.
The latest is Bernie Sanders has the thing where he's like, he's come up with the numbers that if you taxed, and I don't remember, it's like 400 billionaires. If you taxed them an extra 5%, it would generate this much money. And I want to say, I don't know, that it's $40 trillion it would generate. Okay. He says, then we could send every household in America $12,000. There's 130 million households in America. You're going to send them all $12,000. Okay. That eats up a whole lot of that 40 trillion, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you don't have to be really good at math. All you got to do is start adding zeros on the end, right? Then you have to remember that 40 trillion in Bernie's math is over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So when does those checks kick in at year 10?
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, we're going to use the rest of that money. We're going to pay school teachers more, and we're going to make healthcare free. 40 trillion won't touch it.
Mm-mm.
It will not touch it.
Nowhere near.
By the way, these 400 billionaires that you've identified, they don't just have this as cash laying around their house.
Yeah.
They're billionaires because they have, like we talked earlier about Mr. Nolan, they have people they employ. They have businesses they own. So for them to then come off of those billions, they're going to have to shut some of those places down. You're talking about people who are going to lose jobs. And I'm not talking about, 10 or 15 people. We're talking about millions of people who are going to lose jobs. Mm-hmm. People who want to work, who want to be productive members of society.
Because what you and I know, that the money will always get its margin.
Every single time.
If you say, well, I'm going to tax you just 5% more, well, then they're going to cut 5% of everything because they're going to keep their margin.
And guess what? It's theirs. They can do that.
They can do that. But here's the thing, and it's been predicted or extrapolated or whatever, that if you divide all the money and give it to everybody, it'll all, within 10 years, it'll all be back where it was before.
Yes, it will. 100%. You don't have to even do it on a nationwide basis. Do it right here in El Dorado and watch what happens. Oh, like, I don't know, let's say someone sued, I don't know, maybe a company that burns medical waste, and they had a unfortunate incident that caused some people to have to leave their homes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there was a law office here in town that represented all those people. Mm-hmm. And that once the settlement came through, each person got a check. And I may be a little off on the number, but it seems like each person got a check for $698. Now, let me tell you what happened that day, because I saw it. I was at Walmart. The general manager of Walmart finds out that all these people are getting a $698 check. You know what he did?
Put something on sale.
They rolled a TV, DVD player, and a surround sound system out there on the main floor and put a $680 price tag on it. And do you know how many he sold? Hundreds. Where did those people come from? It was the people who had their brand new $700.
And now the billionaires have it again.
And guess who has it?
The billionaires. Alice Walton.
It was that easy. They knew they were going to get that check.
Yeah.
They went right out there and put the temptation on the floor.
Yeah.
Until people can become financially wise. Mm-hmm. That means living on what you make, mm-hmm. saving, giving. You don't take my word for it. Just look up Dave Ramsey. Mm-hmm. I'm a disciple of Dave Ramsey. So
yeah. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, Dave, he comes across kind of arrogant on the air, but when you're right, you're right. But it's been proven time and time again that someone wins the lottery. Well, they're within just a few years they're back poor.
They're bankrupt
because they don't know how to manage. I'm rich all of a sudden. Well, you don't just.
I've got $12 million. They don't think that they don't think about it. This costs $1 million. That's 1/12.
Uh-huh.
So let's just say you made $50,000 a year. And something is $4,200.50 or $4,250. That's 1 month's salary.
Yeah.
You just took a month's salary.
Yeah, and bought that.
To buy that.
Yeah.
It's not going to keep lasting if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that Grant and I have been able to start this company without paying either one of us. Because prior to now, we've been financially wise. And we have been able so far, a year and a half in, to endure. Are we at a place where we could? Probably. We probably could. But right now, we don't have to. And we're using the dollars that we have for things like our new facility, for things like new equipment, mm-hmm. for things like making sure our people are paid.
New truck for Boomer.
You could be on the list. And player, I drive a 20-year-old GMC.
I'm going to talk about you.
You've owned 7 vehicles since I've had them.
But I'm not talking about you.
Right. That's right. I forgot. It's all
right
about Boomer.
Right here, baby.
Right, yeah. But Dave Ramsey says, if you live like no one else, one day you'll live like no one else. Mm-hmm. And I've proven it. I've proven it in my life.
I have a friend that, and we haven't seen each other for several years. He lives in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or close to Green Bay. And we used to go hunting up there with him, and he'd come and stay in my camp because they wanted to hunt flooded timber, duck hunt in South Arkansas. And he owns companies like that make things that you weld on.
Uh-huh.
You follow me?
Yeah.
You can turn a vessel and he makes the devices that go under it. And he has a place up there. He had a place in on the Gulf Coast of Texas, and wealthy man. Mm-hmm. So we went and stayed, and I got a shirt that says River Camp. We went and stayed at this river camp, modest, modest. We stayed there for a few days, and so we went by his house, modest looking home. And I mean, a multimillionaire. I mean, it has $1 billion companies, but drove an old truck, just dressed normal. They came. In fact, when they came to Arkansas, they came in an old Ford truck with a camper shell on it. And, first time I said, well, who are these guys? I said, yeah.
You'll find out.
You'll find out.
Yeah.
So those people that just live modestly within their means and still live in a regular house, those are the ones that create wealth, and they're able to pass it along or use it. They want to use it in other things to build, to create. And if you start taking away from those guys, like I said earlier, their margin is going to be the same. They'll just stop doing something else.
Yes.
So they can, it's streams of income that they try to create. So if you cut off a whole bunch of that, they can't cut down every one of them. They'll just say, well, the least productive one. And so this, all those people in this stream now are unemployed. Mm-hmm. And you're saying you're going to give $12,000 to everyone in the country, and this guy just lost $100,000 a year.
Your job.
Yeah.
Well, let's take it 2008. You remember 2008?
Uh-huh.
Right before the election for Barack Obama and John McCain, there was a stock market crash. Mm-hmm. The real estate bubble popped.
It did.
We all knew it was coming. Uh-huh. How could you not? When you had people who were making $1,400 a month buying $1.3 million homes, it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, all those.
All that. So the day that the stock market crashed, I started getting phone calls from ad agencies, because in radio, that's where a lot of our big money came from. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had our local sponsors, but when you heard Ford and Sonic and Verizon and Tide and all of those, when you heard those commercials on the radio, those come from big ad agencies in New York and Los Angeles and Dallas and Atlanta. Those ad agencies call me and say, cut it off, all of it.
Yeah.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Our stock price dipped 24% today.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, they're cutting it to the real quick.
Within a couple of days, I get a call from our corporate office, says, come on over. So I go to the corporate office, and they sit down and say, you have to cut 20% of your expenses between now and March of next year. Basically 6 months. Mm-hmm. You got to cut 20%. Boomer, there wasn't 20% to cut. Mm-hmm. That's people. Mm-hmm. At that point, it's people.
Yeah.
Thankfully, only one. They were leaving anyway. Mm-hmm. Whether they knew it or not. Mm-hmm. They needed to go anyway. Only one person had to lose their job. Mm-hmm. But when you tell me I have to cut 20%, you'll remember this. That coffee service we had, where the guy come in and he brought the new pots and always had it set up, and we had tons of creamer and tons of sugar, and all they did was cup of coffee and hot chocolate and cappuccino, and that ended.
Cut all that out.
That ended. Mm-hmm. And next thing you know, we had a Mr. Coffee, or the knockoff of a Mr. Coffee, sitting on the counter. That cleaning crew, all of a sudden, everybody could take their own trash out. All those things. Well, answer this. Do you think the coffee guy just absorbed that and, no,
he works on a commission.
He works on a commission.
He lost.
What about the cleaning crew?
Yeah.
We weren't the only people to cut them out.
Yeah.
So what about those people in the cleaning crew?
And the guy that owns it.
Yeah. So I saved somebody's job in my company, but I probably cost 3 people theirs with the cleaning crew. Mm-hmm. And the coffee guy. Maybe all of a sudden that new truck he was going to get, maybe not so much now.
So it's trickling down the wrong direction.
But at the same time, it does trickle down the right way. I have a buddy, his name's Mike Wheatley, and Mike and his lovely wife, Kathy,
Is that the fisherman guy?
Yeah, that's him. So they own a company where they give guided tours of exotic hunting, hunting exotics during a part of the year. And then the other part of the year, they have this beautiful, beautiful place on Sam Rayburn Reservoir, which, by the way, in Texas, if you want to go catch really nice largemouth bass, Sam Rayburn's one of the few locations you can do that. And he told us, this was back in 2017. He told Casey and I, we went down and spent a weekend with him. And he said, the Trump administration has been great for me. He said, all the money these companies are making, they're sending vendors, and, you know, they'll take the vice president of their company will take one of, and, you know, some vendor will take the vice president of this company, and they'll come down and they'll spend a whole week down here fishing. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they'll sign up to go on this exotic hunt. And, you know, well, then Mike takes the money he's made from that and all these hands that he has out here at the exotic hunting ranch, for example, they get paid from that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, there was companies he named here in El Dorado. He's like, oh yeah, we just had a crew from blank in El Dorado and a crew from blank. And he said,
they came out here and hunted.
They came out here and hunted exotics.
Yeah.
And, you know, that I just took out for a fishing tour. And, you know, I mean, that money rolls through the economy. Mm-hmm. So yes, you say, well, let's tax that company over here. Well, that company is using that money to feed people like Mike and Kathy.
Yes.
And Mike and Kathy are using that money in turn to feed all these hands over here who are.
And why don't people get that?
Because they want to believe exactly like the people we talked about earlier. It's a pigeon drop scheme. The big man's never going to give you money that he's not going to get back in return. It's just, it ain't going to happen. Do you remember how mad people were when we announced the El Dorado Promise? Do you remember that?
Yes.
Do you remember how dumbfounded we all were sitting at a radio station taking those phone calls? Like, what in the world?
Or when they decided to do the Murphy Art District.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
People lost their mind.
Well, you know, I think the part that killed me or tickled me the most, somebody had come up there, and I don't remember the number, $5 million or whatever. $5 million got mentioned in a news story. Well, you could have given every person in El Dorado, you could have given every adult in El Dorado $100,000 and changed their life forever. Well, first of all, $100,000 shouldn't change your life forever in a good way. But secondly, your math isn't mathing.
Yeah.
You know, again, add zeros.
Yeah.
It's just, it's, you know, you don't even have to do all the other multiplications. Just put another zero in the end and tell me how far you think that'll
go. You know, somebody mentioned, well, we could have taken that $330 million and we've got 330 million people here. We give them all $1 million. No,
that's not how that math works.
That's one.
We could have given everybody $1. Personally, I'd like for you to see us pay down some debt. I'd like to see us get Saudi Arabia and China out of the mix as much as possible. You know, among conservatives, there's a grand poobah, and it's Ronaldus Magnus. It's Ronald Reagan, right? Mm-hmm. But listen, what happened to the U.S. debt during the Reagan years is almost unforgivable in my mind. We just kept spending. And granted, it was the downfall of communism on a state level. It killed communism. The problem with killing communism, however, is no one remembers what it looks like. Mm-hmm. I happen to be of the age where I do remember them standing in line for toilet paper in the snow. Mm-hmm. For toilet paper. Mm-hmm. Not to mention food.
Yeah.
If you think communism's so great, go to a takeout restaurant in North Korea.
Yeah.
See how that works out.
Yeah. Or go look where at the bread shelf in some of those countries.
I mean, it's just...
Yeah.
The problem with communism is if you as the government adopt a communist philosophy, you are now responsible for feeding all them people.
Yeah.
And let me just tell you, that's the hardest part. We put on this event over here with Chuck Barrett at the First Financial Music Hall. Wonderful event. First class. Everything about it. I've yet to get one complaint. The most expensive thing there that night, Boomer?
Food.
The food. The food.
Sure.
Not the venue, not the speakers, not the setup, not the electronics and all that went into it, not the flight down here, none of that, even compared, even all combined, didn't cost what the food cost. It's not cheap to feed people.
Tell me.
Yeah, I got 6 kids, I know.
Yeah.
It's not cheap to feed people.
Yeah.
So you can't You can't do that.
Yeah.
That's why communism doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Because you can't feed them all.
It can work on a small scale. If you have a commune and everybody's working.
It does as long as everyone's of working age. But what happens when you get up elderly?
Yeah.
What do you do then?
Well, you'll do just like a lot of companies did with your company insurance. There weren't enough young people that would stay in the group insurance to pay for the old people, so they just had to cut the old people out.
Yeah.
Or cut it out with everyone, or cut it out for the family. The last companies that I worked for that provided insurance, it wound up just for me, and then it wound up not me even.
Yeah, so in a commune situation, they just take them outside the wall and set them down and close the doors.
Yeah.
And leave them there. That seems humane, doesn't it? I mean, it's never worked.
Yeah.
Communism has never worked.
Yeah.
Anywhere it's been tried.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what about China? What about China? Let's talk about China. Let's talk about their economy right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think China thinks communism's working? Because I can tell you, on a government level, they're scrambling.
Mm-hmm.
They are sick to death worried that the people are going to figure out that they're broke, and that when the people figure out they're broke, they're going to revolt.
Yep.
China is on the verge. It may not be for another 5 years, but unless something economically changes drastically for China, they are on the verge of imploding. And guess what? We just took away all their free oil.
Yeah.
We just took away their two biggest markets for weapons in Iran and Venezuela. China's hurting.
Yeah.
They're hurting bad.
Yeah.
By the way, all those things that China would make and not sell us during COVID, those
masks and
the chips, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Where were they getting those rare earth minerals? Venezuela. Guess where they're not getting them from now?
Venezuela.
China's in real trouble. Real trouble.
And the surrounding partners in the Middle East. The UAE is a very progressive place, and it's several different makes up the United Arab Emirates. It's several different groups.
It's like several states, for example,
and each one, they each one of them has a king or whatever. But they're progressive, and they're not radical. And a lot of countries around that area now are not wanting to be that crazy religious sect.
They're not wanting to be the next Iran.
Yeah.
They're wanting to be the next UAE.
Yeah.
Because they've just watched.
Yes.
They've watched what happened in the UAE.
Yeah.
Again,
And the fact that Iran has started zinging stuff into those other countries, even though it was at our bases, they've damaged some stuff in UAE. And in Dubai, they build stuff like, they're in the desert, right?
Yes.
They'll build indoor ski slopes.
Right.
In fact, I've watched them. And my brother-in-law and sister was in Dubai in the 70s. And take pictures from the 70s of Dubai.
And compare it
to now and see what you see.
Yeah.
Woo! Talk about a progressive country.
Right.
And, we may not agree with their politics or whatever, but we don't have to. They're going to police that area.
With a name you trust, you can count on us. Glen Mechanical, plumbing, heating, and air.
For over 6 decades, Glen Mechanical has been specializing in HVAC, plumbing, and all mechanical jobs. 3 generations family-owned and operated since 1956. Glen Mechanical's business is based on relationships. They support and give back to the communities they work in. Contact them for all of your HVAC, plumbing, and mechanical needs. GlenMechanical.com.
Experience, courage, common sense. All of these are traits we want in any elected position, but especially in the man we will pick as our next sheriff. Michael Fife hasn't just been in law enforcement for 30 plus years. He's the one who answers the call in the middle of the night, putting himself last and Union County first, looking folks in the eye, doing what's right, standing up for all of us. Vote for Michael Fife for Union County Sheriff.
For 50 years, one name has kept South Arkansas rolling strong, Smackover Motors. From brand new rides to dependable pre-owned vehicles and hard-working fleets, Smackover Motors has helped generations find the perfect fit for the road ahead. And long after the sale, their expert service department keeps you moving with trusted care, honest work, and hometown service you can count on. 50 years of keys, miles, handshakes, and community. Smackover Motors, driven by service, powered by trust since 1976.
Have a lot of fun. Hey, Boomer, we've got some stuff coming up.
Okay.
We've got some stuff going down.
All right.
For those of you who haven't seen, I don't know if the camera's picking it up or not.
Yeah.
And our producer had to leave, so we're kind of here on our own. That means we get to do whatever we want.
Yes. We don't have to listen to nobody.
You see all this? We run this. June 30th at 11 a.m., Hugh Goodwin Patriotic Showcase is going to happen at the Union County Courthouse.
Okay.
Midday on June 30th is a military flyover.
Really?
Yeah, we're going to have a military flyover
from Barksdale or something?
Downtown El Dorado. I don't know where they're coming from, but it's a group of helicopters, and they're like bad to the bone helicopters. And they're going to fly over whole bunches of Arkansas that day.
Okay.
5:30 on June 30th, the Student Patriotic Showcase is going to happen at South Arkansas Arts Center, but that's just on that day.
Yeah.
July 2nd.
Yeah.
At 7:30 p.m., the Stars and Stripes Parade will happen in downtown El Dorado. At 9 o'clock will be the Murphy USA Drone Show. And I don't know if you saw.
That's going to be downtown too.
That's going to be, I think that's actually going to be over at the Mad Amphitheater.
At the Amp.
And, but I don't know if you saw earlier this week, but we posted a story yesterday that the Red Bull skydivers are going to come. They're going to drop into the amphitheater just before the drone show starts.
Yo!
The Red Bull Sky, that's cool. That's big time to me.
That is big time.
July 4th, start at 8 a.m. Farmers Market going on downtown El Dorado.
Yeah.
July 4th at 2 p.m. until 6 p.m. an ice cream social at the Newton House. And then at 9 o'clock on Saturday, July the 4th, the fireworks display.
And where's that going to be?
At the Union County Fairgrounds. Yeah.
You could almost see the most of it from my house.
You know,
if I got some big trees.
Used to, we could from my house, but our trees have grown too. Yeah. We could sit at our house and watch them. You know, you hear the boom 15 seconds later.
Yeah.
Boom. But man, I'm excited.
That'll be some good stuff.
And it's all part of America 250.
Mm-hmm.
You know, America. Yeah.
Yeah. God bless America.
I promise you right now. At my house, we have Alexa.
Yeah.
You know, I don't say it out loud because she's always listening.
She is.
Yeah. But I could call the kids on.
Yeah.
And I'd say, now, Princess, why do you think blah, blah, blah? And if she doesn't know the answer, she just look me dead in the face and say, America, Dad.
America.
That's why. Someone told her, said, yeah, ask your dad about the time he impersonated George W. Bush on the radio. And she said, did you ever impersonate George W. Bush on the radio? I said, ooh. I said, once. And she's like, once? I said, I got in trouble for that. And I did a skit with George W. pretending to be George W. Bush. Said, hey, America, it's President George W. Bush. This job's hard.
This job's hard.
Just want to confirm that we did, at one point last night, lose control of the Hoover Dam. But I caught Kings on the River, and we got it back. And as of about 5 o'clock this morning, our official language is no longer Guatemalanese.
Guatemalanese.
And, you know, I was
so how'd you get in trouble?
Oh, because someone sent a copy of it to corporate. And they were not happy.
This is Noel Mark days?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They were not happy. And I was like, guys, y'all heard my air check before you hired me, right? I mean,
I was doing some voices back.
Y'all knew, at least you had to kind of at least know. And Bill was very gracious. He's like, Sandy, we get it. It's funny. I'll admit it's funny. We're in a war. It was the very early days of the Iraq war. We're in a war. Please don't make fun of the president during a war. And I was like, Bill, you do realize he's a friend of mine. I've known George W. Bush since way before he ever ran for governor of Texas. He's like, I understand, but our audience doesn't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I get it. You know, when the war first started, CJ, I had him, he was doing a special project for me. And that was every time a soldier in Arkansas fell, we would add their name to the list. And CJ every day was doing a tribute to the soldiers from Arkansas who had fallen. And I don't know, there was some music he played behind it. It was military music. And I started getting, this all started on like a Thursday or a Friday. And by Monday, my phone's blowing up from people all across the area who's like, hey, we appreciate what you're doing. We get what you're doing, but not that music. That music means something else. That if you're in the military and you hear that, it means something else. So not that music. I don't even remember now what it was. And so we,
unbeknownst to us.
Yeah. And that was the whole thing. It was just a mistake on our part. And, so I told CJ and he changed it up, but, you know, there are sensitivities that when you're in media and especially in the entertainment business, not everything is entertaining. And, you know, it was the discussion that you and I had with Stephen Gay, especially. Tragedy plus time equals comedy.
Yeah.
You know, it may not be funny today. Yeah. One of the times I felt worst, there was an armed robbery when Simmons Bank had a branch right here across from the school district office.
Yeah.
And someone went in and robbed that Simmons branch. And there was a description of the perpetrators and, you know, what they got and had. And so the next morning, I send a text to John Dews. Hey, John, have I showed you my new, and let's just say, I don't remember, but let's just say it was a red Cadillac. I showed you my new red Cadillac. I got the money to pay for it yesterday. And John calls me and he says,
not funny.
Well, you know how John was. He's very soft-spoken. He says, Sandy, at some point that's going to be funny, but as of today, it's not. I said, John, I'm sorry. He said, no, that's why I'm calling you, my friend. Just to let you know that today it's not funny. And I've never felt worse. Yeah. You know, because I wouldn't do that on the air, but I was just with my buddy, you know. And he's like, I'm sure at some point that, and if you call John Dews right now, he would probably fall over laughing about it, but not that day.
Yeah.
You know, not then. I had about a 40-something minute conversation with John day before yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great, man.
They're doing good.
Yeah. Like we hadn't seen each other, you know, in years. Mm-hmm. And, I think the last time I saw John was like 2012.
Really?
Yeah. I hadn't seen him.
Oh, you haven't seen him forever then.
No, I take that back. It was spring of 2013 when we all went to Hot Springs to golf, but that's the last time I saw John. And I'm sure he's still ruggedly handsome and good looking and tall and thin
he's
with a bunch of hair.
He's a little bit older and his hair's a little lighter.
Yeah, but he still got it, doesn't he?
He still has his. Yeah, mine turned. I saw Howard Skinner today at Home Depot, and I said, "Well, yours turned gray."
My cousin Howard.
Your cousin Howard.
You know, Howard's my cousin now.
Yeah, because of marriage.
Yeah.
But I said, yours turned gray and mine turned loose.
Yeah, exactly right.
I started when I was 27.
Yeah, mine actually started in high school.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, I remember in high school, and I freaked out. I was in high school, and I'm combing my hair one day. As a matter of fact, I can tell you, Dale Alexander and I were going to the Texas State FFA convention, and I'm getting ready that morning. That day, we're going to have George Strait was going to come speak to us, an ag teacher. You know? And I'm getting ready that morning, and I'm combing that sweet mullet that I had, and I pull that comb through my hair, and I'm like, I looked at that comb, and there's so much hair in there. I'm like, oh, And I pulled my head down, I started looking, and it all looked fine there. And we were in a hotel, so it had one of these big mirrors, and I pulled it around here and put it, and I saw a little thin and I was like, uh-oh.
That's when mine had that little skull cap thing going.
So Jax, let me tell you what he did. He was working for Cracker Barrel, and he walked into the manager's office. Well, the cameras are about 4 or 5 seconds behind, and he walks in the manager's office and sees the camera from behind him, and it spots him on the top of his head, and he sees a bald spot. That player went home that night and cut and shaved his head.
Not going to have a bald spot.
Not going to have a bald spot. I mean, hey, to you, Jax. Hats off to you.
Hats off to you, bro.
Brother, you took the bull by the horns.
Well, the last time I've been cutting my own hair forever. Whatever's left. And I got down to the one that I've just been using on the sides. I just did it all over. And it's grown out some now, but Martha come down and says, and I told you this, he says, you look like the little Etch-a-Sketch guy that you put the magnets up on his. I said, thanks a lot.
Well, let me ask you this, because I could do the same thing, except what do you do with all this stuff back here? How do you clean up the back of your neck?
I have a little clipper that I use back there.
You can see it or reach it all, and
I just reach it. I don't necessarily see it. I'll turn and see if I miss it.
So the back of Boomer's head may look like a stock market.
I got knots on the back of my. But all I got is a little circle here.
Yeah.
So and so if you try to grow anything on top, well, it just looks silly.
It just looks fuzzy.
So even after this has grown out some. The other night I went just on the top. Well, Saturday night. I said, I don't want to go looking scruffy to church Sunday morning. So Martha says, oh, my God, you and your clippers. I said, well, baby, what's the point in, what's the point in
You were shaving your head at one point.
No.
You never did? I thought I remembered you shaving your head. I guess you just shaved. I guess you just cut a little close that time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what and it used to be dark, and so, it just.
Yeah, that was the same thing. Mine used to be dark.
Yeah.
And then I had kids.
Yeah. So, but you had plenty of hair when I met you 20 years ago.
Yeah, I had some. It was starting to turn loose then. But
when I moved here, I still had the.
You had great hair.
I had the slick back.
Had a little pompadour going on.
The coach, the LA coach. Who's
yeah.
Used to wear his hair slicked back.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
The coach of the Lakers.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Oh, wow. I just had a Boomer moment.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So, and
Pat Riley.
And then Ricky Roberts, when he first came to town.
Oh, he had dark hair.
Thick hair.
Dark
and he
hair.
wore it straight back like that.
By the way, Ricky, answer a text.
Trying
to get Ricky over here. Want him to come.
Again?
Yeah, want him to come be a podcast guest.
Well, we've had him, but
a couple times.
Again.
But, hey, we've had Jack 6.
Well, he's got naming rights.
Yeah. David Lee 5. David Lee swears he's going to outdo Jax on appearances.
He's just going to show up. Because we tell everybody, just come over whenever
you want.
You
got open invitation.
We'll slide in some more couches.
I told y'all,
I've
got another microphone. We can put somebody right here.
Yeah.
I got headsets. We can even,
headset us.
We can put some people on the floor if we need to.
Have a little choir back there.
Yeah. What? A lot of great things coming up.
And just what I reminded you years ago, it's not always about being right. Sometimes you just don't have to be right.
Boomer, you did tell me that.
I did.
And I think I agreed with you.
No, you didn't. He goes, yes, it is.
Yeah. Boomer looked at me and said, Sandy, it's not about who's right.
Well, yes, it is. You were in your 30s.
Oh, yeah.
So you had to be right.
Young and stupid.
I used to be in my 30s.
Yeah. And that's what makes us such good friends, Boomer, because you looked at me and said, I used to be like that.
I used to be like that.
Lord Jesus, just keep him safe until the end.
Lay your hand down. Come on.
Lord, put your hedge of protection about him for right now, because he is too dumb to save himself. He is too dumb to be careful. Boomer, it's been fun.
Has been a good day.
It has been a good day. Got a lot coming up in El Dorado and across the nation, frankly. I mean, America. 250.
250.
Yeah. So, hey, we want to thank you. We want to thank our sponsors, because without them and without you, we would just be talking to ourselves.
Yeah.
And frankly,
we do that too.
We do that anyway. So, yeah. Hey, thank you so much. Until next time, have a great weekend and God bless.
With a history of being the voices you trust, this is Off the Back Porch.